The football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Straight shooting LJA.
Hi, I'm John Sitton.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
The G-Man.
Samir Swanee from Motivate Sports and Fitness.
Christian Caron-Bleu.
Matt Hodgson, director of the 4-year plan.
We the people, for the people. Jazzy Fizzle.
Your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Each and every Monday night of your lives.
At youtube.com/pitch talk.
At www.pitch-talk.com.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Christian Caron-Bleu.
Matt Hodgson, director of the 4-year plan.
Dave McLaughlin.
I'm Rob Lusher.
Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, CEO of 14.
Former chairman of Ibis FC.
Chairman of Alexandra Park FC.
And you're listening to
Pitch Talk.
The only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
Is where we talk. Make sure you join the revolution, the footballing revolution.
Hi, I'm John Sitton here with Gavin, Liam Angell on Pitch Talk.
The football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Matt Hodgson, director of the 4-year plan.
Samir Swanee, co-founder and co-director of Motivate Sports and Fitness.
And you're listening to Pitch Talk.
The only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
You never know. You won't see it coming, but I promise you know. Cause this pitch talk, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, straight shooting LJA, the G-Man and Jazzy Fizzle proudly bring to you the football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions. Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And of course, the pitch is where we talk. It's Monday. It's organized mayhem. It is your Monday night footballing fix. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website. Find out everything Pitch Talk there. www.pitch-talk.com. Also, facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution that we are working so hard to create. Also, pitchtalk.blogspot.com and .co.uk as well. We'll get you to blogs by yours truly, straight shooting LJ, the G-Man, Jazzy Fizzle, and many, many others as well, including Dave Meir, aka at Mearcy's Electricity Premier League Roundup, and many, many other blogs as well. Also youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where you can find all the videos. We, within the next 24 hours, will be releasing Pitch Talk meets Dave McLaughlin. So our brand new Pitch Talk meets interview is literally imminent. So keep your eyes open for that. Pitch Talk meets Dave McLaughlin. We had a lot of questions from the Pitch Talk family, and of course, they all got answered. So it's one of them was the questions sent in by a lot of the PT family were actually fantastic and got some very, very good answers too. Also, it's one of them was all the other Pitch Talk meets interviews are on youtube.com/Pitch Talk. And also we will be adding to the cup, to Pitch Talk at the Cup finals. We will be adding to that because this Saturday, the 30th of May 2015 is when we will be on Wembley Way again. All three co-hosts, Straight Shooting LJ, the G-Man, and Jazzy Fizzle will be on Wembley Way again. Arsenal fans, Aston Villa fans, come and find us. We will have the cameras with us. So we are looking for your views pre-match and post-match on Wembley Way. Come and find us. Get in touch on Facebook. Get in touch on Twitter as well. It's one of them ones. We are going to be down on Wembley Way for the Aston Villa v Arsenal FA Cup final. Hoping to meet some of the PT family who are gooners down there as well. And also, we might be bringing a couple people as well. So big shout outs to Nathan Arsenal. And also big shout outs to a good friend of mine, Sherelle Wedderburn and Andrew Williams as well. Big time shout outs. Hope to see you two on Wembley Way. And hell, it's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, Pitch Talk. Twitter.com/Pitch Talk. At Pitch Talk on Twitter is our Twitter handle. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. We're going to try and post some updates, whether it be image updates or otherwise. We are going to be posting some stuff on the 30th as well. On Saturday, 30th of May 2015, during the FA Cup final. Whilst we're on Wembley Way, I said we're going to try and post a couple of pictures, just soak up that atmosphere on the day as well. You can hear the mobile loading up. You can hear it. 07535 804 466 is the mobile number. That's 07535 804 466. That is the mobile number. Call us, text us, let us know your views. And also, if you're texting in, leave your name at the end of the text so we can shout you out, because it's we the people for the people. Also Pitch Talk Live on Google Plus. Come and find us. It is all it's going to be fun tonight. It is going to be a lot of fun tonight. Jesse Fizzle, how's your week and weekend been, dude?
Week and weekend's been great, man. I have to say, you know what? It's a wonderful feeling being here on your Monday Night Footballing Fix. You know, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Shout out to the G-Man. You know what I mean? Shout out to the rest of the family as well. Shout out to my familia. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to my ex-wife. Love you, baby. Shout out to my next wife. Love you, baby. Shout out to my future kids, man. Love all of you as well. And you know what? Nothing but love for the Pitch Talk family as well. You know what I mean? It's just we the people for the people. So grateful to be here with you and looking forward to being with you guys down on Wembley Way on Saturday for Pitch Talk at the Cup final.
It is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Personally, because of a lot of smack talk
It's going to be
certain
epic.
people, I'm hoping Aston Villa win it. But anyway, it's one of them. It's interesting. But it is, it's going to be fun. I think it is actually going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Once again, actually. Because on the
Pitch Talk at the Cup final is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And
we have great interaction with our fans, you know, and I think this time on Saturday is going to be absolutely no different. If anything, it might be one of the best ever. So as you said, you know, if you guys are down on Wembley Way on Saturday, you know, if you're just in and around the area, generally, if you're looking for a spot to go watch the game and all the rest of it, come and say hi. Yeah? It's we the people for the people. Be a part of the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create.
Of course. And if you know people who are going to be down there, get them to look for us. Get their face on camera. It's one of them ones. That's it. We going to be with the cameras, baby. It's one of them ones, man. Last year's FA Cup final was actually tremendous. We actually really, really enjoyed it. Ended up in the Watkins Folly, all three of us. And it's one of them ones. There are a lot of interactions in there as well. But
yeah, no, it was a great time had by all. We have to go back there. Oh,
was it a great time? Oh, I don't know that. I don't know what happened afterwards. Anyway, where's that CO2 to?
Oh my goodness.
Anyway. Oh, good Lord. Oh, lordy. Oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun tonight. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna
you know,
be
looking
fun.
at my Audi, it's about that time, right?
It's about that time for what? Bright lights and anyway. Memories of
Oh,
the
my
FA Cup
goodness.
last year.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god!
But yeah, if you want to be a part of this footballing revolution and you're around Wembley Way on Saturday, hey, come find us. You know, become a fan, become a friend, become a member of all the groups, all right? And be featured in the videos too.
All right. Oh, it's got to be fun. It is actually got to be a lot of fun. But you know what? We got the Skypers in the house. We got Kieran Riley, we got Tom Wood, we got Ryan Sondy, we got Jamie Bailey, and we've got Jamie Two-Man Bailey, that he is. And also we got Mike Harniman as well. So it's all good in the Skype chat. So it is about that time where we move and groove into the first segment of the show, which is results and analysis. It's results and analyses. It's results and analyses. Yes, it is, baby. It's results and analyses, baby. Yes. Yes. No. Maybe so. Oh yes. Oh yes. Where are we going? Results and analysis is exactly where we're going. And where we are starting, we're starting going to start Wednesday, 20th of May, 2015, Arsenal 0 Sunderland. Not a great deal to report on that, apart from the fact that Arsenal had 28 shots on goal, but no goals. Hey, it's one of them when Sunderland actually, via this draw, they needed a point from either this game against Arsenal or Chelsea, and they got it. They got their point against Arsenal and confirmed their safety. We're going to come back onto that though, because that ties into later on. But shifting on to Sunday, May 24th. 2015. We're going to stay with the Premier League for a bit, but we are going to come back to the playoff results, definitely, because that made a big part of the weekend. But Sunday, May 24th, 2015, Arsenal 4, West Brom 1. So the goals that Arsenal couldn't score against Sunderland, they ended up taking out on West Brom because Theo Walcott, who people are now urging to sign the thing again, scored on 4 minutes, 14 minutes, and also 37 minutes, with Wilshere scoring on 17 minutes and Gareth McCauley scoring on 57 minutes, a consolation for West Brom. Aston Villa 0, Burnley 1. Danny Ings getting the only goal, fantastic header, it must be said, on 6 minutes. By the way, Walcott and Wilshere got at least one goal of the week contender from each of them. Stuff for the week is later on in the show. Stuff for the season we'll be doing next week, just to give the heads up on that. But Chelsea 3, Sunderland 1. Stephen Fletcher opened the scoring against the script, it must be said, and uncharacteristically poor defending by John Terry on the far post. Stephen Fletcher opened the scoring on 26 minutes, with Diego Costa scoring a penalty on 37 minutes. Was a stonewaller when Cuadrado was brought down. But Loic Remy scored on 70 minutes, and Loic Remy scored again on 88 minutes. Crystal Palace 1, Swansea 0. Marouane Chamakh with a very good first touch, but then a very good finish on 57 minutes, scoring the only goal of the game. No goal this week from Bafétembi Gomis. So that was a bit of a shame, actually. Actually, on a wide shot, him and Emnes look remarkably similar because of the dreads and also the same damn boots as well. It's very difficult. But also, Everton 0, Tottenham 1. Harry Kane getting the only goal of the game on 24 minutes. I think he went something like 383 minutes without scoring a goal before this. But on them was at least he was back on the score sheet again. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Sorry, just got a little distracted there because there is news coming through all the time in the world of football, especially at this time of the season. Managerial movements and shakings we'll get into on general talking points, so stick around for that. Definitely stick around for that. The next result, Jezzy, you want to take it?
No, I'll leave that for you.
Okay, cool.
I'm in a giving mood, so I'll give it back.
Yeah, I know other things you could be given. Anyway, Hull City 0, Manchester United 0. A couple of very good saves in this from Victor Valdez. But hey, so one of them was Marouane Fellaini was sent off on 77 minutes for an atrocious. I can't even call it an attempt at a tackle. It was that unnecessary on Paul McShane. It was disgraceful. Flop of the week contention? Maybe. He'd only been on the pitch about 10 minutes, so maybe. Stuff of the week is later on in the show, though. But Leicester City 5, QPR 1. Speaking of flop of the week contention, Jamie Vardy opened the scoring on 16 minutes. Mark Albrighton scoring on 43. Leonardo Ulloa scoring on 51. Esteban Cambiasso getting his goal on 52 minutes. Charlie Austin with his obligatory remark on 57 minutes. And Andre Kramaric, scoring on 86 minutes to round it out. Manchester City 2, Southampton 0. Frank Lampard opened the scoring on 31 minutes and Sergio Aguero scored on 88 minutes. Newcastle. Now, Hull drew 0-0 with United. What Hull City needed, as we mentioned on last week's show, what Hull City needed was a win against Man United. They had 2 disallowed goals in that game as well. Correctly disallowed. Second one was tighter than the Ducks' butt. To coin that phrase from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Anyway, obligatory movie reference. But it's one of them ones where Hull needed to beat Man United and hope that Newcastle lose or draw. Newcastle did their job. They won. Moussa Sissoko opened the scoring on 54 minutes with a towering header. And the most popular man in Newcastle right now got the assist because it was his cross. It was Jonas Gutierrez's cross for Moussa Sissoko. And then Gutierrez put icing on the cake and sealed the deal on 85 minutes. Scoring slight deflection on it. It was on target anyway, so the dubious goals can't take it off him. But who would take it off Jonas Gutierrez anyway? He scored the second goal and sent St. James's Park absolutely crazy and confirmed Newcastle's survival. Jonas Gutierrez getting that winning goal, brilliant. We're gonna come back onto that in a second. Actually, absolutely fantastic. There have been a couple of things that we've seen over the past couple of days that put football very much into perspective, but we'll get onto that in a second. But most surprising result of the weekend. Most surprising result of the weekend definitely has to get -5 stars. But even then, I'm not even gonna play the -5 star soundbite because it won't even do this justice. Brian Alvarez screaming -5 stars wouldn't even do this justice as to how bad a result this was.
-10 stars.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah. Stoke City -6.
-10 stars.
Stoke City 6, Liverpool 1. And I kid you not. It's funny though. I'm gonna come back onto that actually. Juve opened the scoring on 22 minutes. Scored again on 26, an absolute belt on 26. Johnny Walters scored on 30 minutes. Charlie Adams scored on 41. Nice low drive. Stephen Nzonzi got a goal of the week contender of his own to add to Juve's goal of the week contender as his second goal on 45 minutes of first half stoppage time. Steven Gerrard scored on 70 minutes and Peter Crouch headed in a goal against one of his former clubs on 86 minutes. Now, I'm going to take these in reverse order. Stoke Liverpool. My thoughts on it can be summed up in quite a few sound bites. The first one.
Extremely frustrated over what had just happened. Whoa! Frustrated into the goddamn word for it.
I'd love to play the rest of that soundbite. But it contains profanity. Anyway, another soundbite that came to mind when I was watching these goals go in.
Can you what kind of sportsmanship is this? It's bloody disgraceful. What? It's not marked as a Queensberry, I'll tell you that. It certainly isn't. We wouldn't stand for this. It's bloody disgraceful, JR.
That was another one. And yet another soundbite that I thought of when I was watching these goals go in.
Hey, you stuck this leg. You stuck this leg. Hey, you stuck this leg. You stuck this leg. You stuck this leg.
Yeah, I'd love to play the rest of that soundbite too. But it's one of them ones also. But yeah, when these goals were going in, and especially and when it came to half time, all I could think of was,
I don't know what the hell's going on here. Wait a minute. But I don't like it at all. But I don't like it at all.
Beat down, Stoke City beat down. Liverpool are down. We played so crap. We got beat down by Stoke. Beat down by Stoke. We got beat down by Stoke. We got beat down. We got beat down.
We know he's not going to win.
That's my thoughts. Now I'm going home. Anyway, curveball ran on strike one. But the fact of the matter is, I'm going to paraphrase Jim Cornette at this point. The performances over the last couple of months, we've talked about Arsenal capitulating from February. That's usually February till the end of the season. But with us, for the past couple of months, pretty much since that game against Man United was kind of a big turning point. The wheels have not just fallen off. It looks like the wheels got blown up. It's one of them ones. The car got blown up. It was one of them ones that it was like someone hired Osama bin Laden to take care of Liverpool's season. It just literally blew up in our faces, and it was that from touching distance in terms of the Champions League place in the top four to dropping to sixth. Tottenham I don't really give a damn about anyway, because Tottenham are permanently mediocre. They're a Jay Brown team and they've never had anything worth writing home about. So them finishing above us really doesn't bother me. What bothers me is obviously the Brendan Rodgers brigade are coming out again. Of course they're coming out again. Oh yeah, Brendan. I've always been of the mindset, and I still am of the mindset, and it doesn't change with this particular result. The fact of the matter is, it's a case of, right, if we're going to get Brendan Rodgers out, then we've got to get someone better in. And if we keep Brendan Rodgers, get the guy in some help. Let him take care of the attacking side of the team, because that's what he's good at as a coach. That's what he's good at, attacking. And get someone like what Kenny Dalglish did with Kevin Keane and Steve Clark to help with the midfield and the back line. Because the same mistakes that were made last season, the same frailties, and Ryan Sondley, that's not a bad shout, actually, Sammy Hippier, big Sammy. Fact of the matter is, the same defensive frailties that haunted us last season come up again. Every single one, as said, I wish I could play a Jim Cornette soundbite from the trailer, from his Kayfabe Commentaries Breaking Kayfabe episode. Because all I was thinking when I was seeing these goals, I'm thinking Jim Cornette. I'm literally looking to paraphrase my inner Jim Cornette. It's an effing circus. It really was, because every one of those goals, defenders backing off. Why are you backing? Oh, Nzonzi's strike, even Juve's strike. It's like, Skirtle, someone close down. I'm begging you. The guy's on the edge of our box. Why are you not closing down? There was those goals. Mignolet, Butterfingers, please hold on to the ball. First goal, hold on to the ball. It's like LMA. It's like playing LMA Manager 2001 when you want your team to retain possession. Hold on to it. And it's like, Anyway, I mean, Kolo Toure not stopping the cross for Crouch's goal and then having the nerve to fling his arms up as if to say, oh, come on, guys, what are you doing? It's like, no, dude, you needed to stop the cross. Why are you turning your back? And it's like, it was frustrating. But you know what? It was one of them ones. 1-0 down, I was fuming. 2-0 down, I was fuming. 3-0 down, beyond fuming. When it went to 4-on-5, it was just like, oh, good Lord, I'm going to have to deal with this on PT Live tomorrow. It was one of them ones. It was just resigned to the fact that this is embarrassing, but you know what? It's been coming. A battering like this with our backline has been coming. A lot of square pegs in round holes. I mean, Kolo Toure ending up coming on at fullback shows you how thin we are at fullback. But it's a case of the same mistakes being made over and over and over again. That's the problem. That's the problem that I had. And at the end of the day, to fall off that badly. I mean, I was quite vocal on Twitter about it, and the fact of the matter is, I mean, I just see it as that result in and of itself was an absolute disgrace. It was embarrassing. I love the fact that they were bloody the official Liverpool Facebook page was like, yeah, we've got the new third kit out. Very stylish new kit. I will be purchasing that at some point. But it's a case of, yeah, it's all good you saying, yeah, we've got a new third kit and we're wearing it today. But it would have been nice if the guys had played for that shirt. On their backs. Because all the Liverpool team did, literally, apart from Gerrard and Jordan Ibe, everyone on that pitch, it was a case of they not just let themselves down. They not just let Steven Gerrard down. What a great send-off. 2 humiliating defeats. What a great send-off to one of the best players we've ever seen as Liverpool supporters. It's one of them was what a great send-off. A 3-1 defeat against Palace and a 6-1 defeat away at Stoke. What a great send-off. Well done, guys. Well done. Well done. Well done in terms of showing your gratitude to the great captain that we've had. Well done. Thank you very much for that. I bet Gerald was thinking to himself, you know what? I cannot wait to leave this team. I love Liverpool as a club. I love Liverpool as a city. But this team, I can't wait to leave it. It's one of them ones. I mean, the fact of that's how I would have felt. I would have been like, you know what? After all the times that I've bailed this team out, after all the goals that I've scored, the work that I've put in, you give me that as a send-off. But you know what? Not even it. I mean, as I said, they let Gerrard down. They let themselves down. But more importantly, they let the club down. Those 2 limp, lackluster performances were an effing disgrace. And it was an effing circus the way we defended over the past couple of weeks. Over the past couple of months, it must be said. But in this game especially, it was one of them ones. I feel a little better. I feel a little better after that. Actually, I've been waiting to get that rant out for a while. But as I said, I'm just glad now that the season's over, and it's a case of you know what, stuff. Now there has to be some sort of massive overhaul. We've got apparently at least 7 players leaving, so it's a case of most of that team that we've got, guys like Lovren, Toure, among others, it's a case of, bro, you're barely good enough to be backup singers. That's the way I feel about it. Because most of us Liverpool supporters will be feeling like this right now.
Terribly frustrated. Extremely frustrated over what has just happened. Whoa! Frustrated into the goddamn word for it.
It's one of them ones. I said I would love to play the rest of that soundbite, but it's one of them ones. It does contain profanity. But the fact is, it was woeful. It was utterly woeful. Now shifting on some of the other games. Newcastle. I said on Twitter, boy, you lot are jammy, but you definitely need to replace John Carver. It is one of them. Was the Sterling situation we're getting onto in general talking points. There's a lot to be said there, but Newcastle West Ham. It was a case of Newcastle missed a hatful of chances. So did Howard actually, but Newcastle missed an absolute. We were doing updates on these two games, and Newcastle Riviere. Oh my God! I'm at Sunday football yesterday. I actually missed a. It was on my right foot. Bobble just as I hit it. I hit the bar from about 3 yards out, but I'm not right footed. but the fact of the matter is, Riviere. Oh my! He got his blushes spared. He really did. But the fact of the matter is, the Newcastle West Ham result. I feel so good for Jonas Gutierrez. I really do feel so good for him because at the end of the day, it was fantastic to see him get the winning goal of all people. The assist for the first goal and the winning goal as well that confirmed it. It's fantastic for Jonas Gutierrez. You know what? Legend, hero. You have to say that about Gutierrez after coming back from testicular cancer and signing off from Newcastle in great fashion like that. Man City, Southampton. Yaya Toure went on one of them lung busting runs, and it was like I said last week, it was a case of that's what Man City had been missing this season. They had the top scorer in their side, but it was a case of their defense. A bad defense will always cost you games. It's one of them ones. But Leicester QPR, it was a case of, all right, Charlie Austin got his obligatory remark, but Leicester City have smashed it. In the past couple of months, they have smashed it. From looking dead and buried in January, they smacked it. They absolutely smacked it. Hull could have got the win, but on another day, they would have got the win. But the fact of the matter is, close but no cigar. And even so, their result ended up not mattering because of what Newcastle did. Everton 0, Tottenham 1. Yeah, Tottenham leapfrogged us, but I said I don't really give too much of a damn about Tottenham. In the same way, I don't really give much of a damn about Everton, who placed 11, and some of their fans have the nerve to swipe at Liverpool, but that makes sense. But Palace Swansea, it was one of them with Shamak's goal quality. The Chelsea Sunderland game was an interesting one actually. Didier Drogba getting carried off after 29 minutes when Costa came on. It was a nice touch. I quite like that. It was quite a touch. A lot of people were like, "Oh wait, does that count as time wasted?" But I love that. I love that kind of thing because apparently Drogba knew nothing about it. So I like that. That's fantastic. Villa Burnley was an interesting one. Danny Ings, I doubt he'll stay at Burnley, but he might. You never know. He actually might stay. He might stay at Burnley, but I think someone will end up buying him. Arsenal West Brom. I said Walcott. Walcott always seems. It's kind of strange actually because Walcott always seems to pick up his game when it comes to the whole renewal of contracts or that kind of area. It's one of them was he always seems to pick up his game a little. But yeah, I mean, it's one of them was Wilshire's one of them was they started and did well. So it's one of them. But will Wilshere and Walcott start in the FA Cup final? I doubt it. I very much doubt it. But Jazzy Fizzle, you wanna have a little chat about the Premier League games before we move on to the playoff finals now?
Sure. I mean, the game really, well, a couple of games I wanted to focus on. First one was Leicester and QPR, you know, and I think when you look at it, Leicester have done everything right, and they're a polar opposite to QPR in the sense of, you know, even if we look at transfers and things, right, there hasn't been a massive influx of players at Leicester, right? Not the chopping and changing that you've had at QPR. There's been a team spirit and togetherness. We haven't had, for example, the manager at the start of the season having to leave for one reason or another. We haven't had uncertainty about continued uncertainty about who's going to continue to be in charge, right? And you've also had all the players coming together. Now, I understand that QPR tried to do that, but in terms of, you know, the levels that it's on versus Leicester just at a much higher level, right? In the sense of Leicester looked like a team that deserved to be in the Premier League, and QPR looked like a team that deserved to be relegated. Now, I know that's going to get a lot of QPR fans upset, namely a brother from another mother, Mr. Gavin Lawson, right? But I will say this to you, Mr. Lawson. Unfortunately, that's the law, son, and that's how the game works.
That's terrible. Oh, Lord.
That's how the game works. So, you know, congratulations to Leicester, because here's the thing, right? Everybody at the club, fans, everyone, they've put in the necessary work, and they've got their just rewards for that. Whereas, you know, I'd have to say that there's more than one or two people at QPR, whether it's at the very top, in the middle, coaching staff, players, that haven't put the required work in. You know, and unfortunately you get what you give. And sometimes you have to give a little bit more. It takes that a little bit more, and that's what Leicester found over the last few weeks and last few months. They found that little bit more, and they deserve to be in the Premier League for next season. It's as simple as that. In terms of Southampton, well, I have to say, overall, it's been a great season. It's been an absolute great season for them. They've been absolutely wonderful. I think what's really going to determine how they move forward is what's going to happen with Morgan Schneiderlin. You know, does he go for that big money move? I think there's rumours of about 25 to 30 million.
Yeah,
does he move
on Tottenham? Yeah.
If he moves, then, you know, it's a matter of who do they bring in. Are there going to be promotions for more youth players? Because here's the thing, they have one of the most exciting young teams in terms of integration of talent from the academy in the Premier League, in my opinion. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens after that. But overall, look, Southampton fans, be very, very happy with your season. Very, very happy. To think that, you know, everybody would have thought, considering, you know, what was essentially a culling of most of the talent, you know, the top talent at the club in the transfer window at the start of the season. You know, a lot of fans would have thought, oh gosh, you know, this whole thing is doomed, for lack of a better term. You know, especially with the manager leaving as well. You know, to have the season that they've had, congratulations to them, kudos to them. Well done.
You know,
but, you know, another result I'll touch on briefly is Stoke, Liverpool.
Feel free.
What a brilliant result for football. What a brilliant result for Stoke. But here's the thing. What an absolute terrible result for Steven Gerrard. Yeah, absolutely terrible. Because here's the thing. He still goes, puts the team on his back and goes and scores. Still does that. And everybody else doesn't seem to fight. With him, for him, so on and so forth. Right? So I'm a bit confused as to exactly what's happened at Liverpool. You know, in the sense of, one, the negotiations with Steven Gerrard seem to be drawn out. Like, for example, you know, he's not offered that quasi backroom role where you say, right, you know, in terms of playing time, we're going to start reducing it because we want you long term in terms of, you know, coaching and development of other players. We want you to be, you know, an active ambassador for the club that also has hands-on dealings with, you know, player development, in terms of our youth teams and reserves and so on and so forth.
Well, it's similar
And
to
then,
what
of
I
course,
said with Lampard, with the Lampard thing, and I felt Chelsea.
Yeah,
missed the
Chelsea,
trick there as well.
absolutely.
I would have loved
that is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. I personally couldn't believe that. But then, of course, you have this. I don't even want to call it like a black cloud. It's like a looming thunderstorm in regards to Raheem Sterling, right? With his agent coming out and saying that he's not going to re-sign
we'll
£1 million a week.
Oh, general talking points. We're getting onto that because there's a lot that needs to be discussed.
Right? So, like, you have all of this swirling around, and obviously Steven Gerrard, legendary player, iconic player, and I don't use those words lightly because that is what he is. Legendary and iconic, and I say that as a Man United fan as well as a football fan. A legendary and iconic player, right? That every club would be very proud to have. So he's going, and then of course you have, you know, your brightest young talent who's now seemed to be hell bent on going, and you're thinking there's no cohesion here. And I think all of that, in terms of, you know, the psychological doubt that is cast in a lot of players, it's clear to see. I also think that the other thing that's clear is that right about now, something drastic needs to be done in the dressing room, and it could be getting rid of Raheem Sterling to reunite that dressing room, because the dressing room looks divided to me.
Well, we'll revisit that in general talking points, definitely, because I've got an opinion on that whole saga.
You know, but for every part that Liverpool were woeful, Stoke were brilliant.
Yeah,
and that needs to be pointed out. They performed very, very well. As you said, there was a couple of absolutely brilliant goals scored in the game. And, you know, as much as we talk about Liverpool being in decline, in crisis, so on and so forth, just to throw some superlatives out there, you know, we also have to say that there were two teams in this match, and the other one, well, they scored 6.
Oh yeah,
and you don't do that against any team in the Premier League without performing particularly well. So credit to them. And as I say, you know, I really don't know what's happening at Liverpool, but, you know, for the sake of the club and for the sake of the fans, and, you know, this is going to sound very strange, me saying this, but I'll say it anyway. Liverpool have some of the best fans in the world of football. They really do.
Damn right.
I hope that, you know, all of this gets sorted out for their sake. Now, for my sake and the sake of my club, it's absolutely hilarious. Okay, I am not going to deny that. I'm enjoying watching this. Right, it adds a little bit of spice to my weekends. Right, but I think, you know, the fans deserve a lot more. Brendan Rodgers, as a manager, for what he's brought to the club, he deserves a lot more. And right about now, neither parties are getting anything.
I mean, you know, we got some of the Skypers who wanted to jump in on some of the other Premier League results as well. Mike Harniman, you said a couple of interesting things in the Skype chat, especially in regards to Arsenal.
Yeah, basically for me, I really feel that Walcott needs to sign this contract now. He needs to get on and extend it, because the fact he was playing yesterday through the middle as like the lone striker was something that we've been crying out for a while, to have him up there. Giroud's not looked himself. He's been off his game for like about 3 or 4 weeks now. And to have that kind of competition is what we need. So for like next season with Giroud, Welbeck, Sanchez and Walcott as well, with Walcott even possibly partnering someone up top and changing system a bit, would probably do us some good for next season, I feel.
That's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. I mean, with Walcott playing up top, though, I mean, he's going to have to dislodge Giroud, Welbeck, and Sanchez. So it's a case of you're going to have to really accommodate. But, I mean, what do you reckon on the other Premier League results from the final day?
Yeah, I'm very pleased that Newcastle stayed up for Gutierrez's sake, really, because obviously the fact he's gone through and beaten Cantor earlier this season as well and come back into the fold, been being able to play and all that again. Obviously, said a lot about the guy anyway. But to go out there and to score the goal that basically keeps him up as well, it's just a story that was made, that was written for weeks.
No, definitely. I mean, I said it was fantastic to see it. It really was. It was one of them was just like, yeah, that is it's a feel good story, and it's one of them was I had no vested interest in Hull or Newcastle staying up, so it was kind of like, all right, go full neutral on it. But it's one of them ones, man. I mean, by the way, actually, Elliot Waller, Matt Whitfield, guys. Bye. See you later.
That's cold-blooded, man.
No. The reason
it's cold-blooded because you missed off Greenham.
Well, it's one. Well, also I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that as well, Mr. Sam Greenham. See you later, dude. See you later. Have fun with Leeds in the Championship. Have fun with them. But yeah, it is one of them ones where I think it was Elliot. I think it was Elliot Waller who after Hull beat Liverpool, he was like, yeah, we beat you, and it's like, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, you better hope that win keeps you up, or else it means nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Thank you, Ned.
Hello, Ned. Anyway, some old school Simpsons references for those who love that. Stupid, sexy Flanders. He was like, I'm wearing nothing. I love that. I sentence you to kiss my. Anyway, so I love that. Ryan Sonley, did you want to jump in on some of the other results as well?
Yeah, well, I thought Hull deserved the 3 points against United. They played pretty good. I mean, yeah, the 2 goals that were disallowed for offside were very tight. Well, the first one, you could tell he was definitely offside because the keeper stepped up. The second one, I thought if it was it that was on offside, if he had not touched it, I think it might have gone in and it could have been a different game.
Yeah.
But I thought they did deserve the win. And then obviously Fellaini for his stamp on Paul McShane, well, it was definitely a red.
Oh yeah.
No trouble about it. I mean, he's been on the pitch 10 minutes and done that. It was just poor. I mean, he didn't even go over to him to say sorry or anything. He knew he was in the wrong, and to be honest, the referee got the decision right and sent him off, which I was happy about because I thought Ho deserved. I mean, Al Mohammadi and the other left wing back were playing brilliant down the wings, so I thought they were guaranteed to get the goal that they needed to hopefully stay up and hope that Newcastle had slipped. But well done to Newcastle on winning 2-0 and staying up. Does that mean Mike Ashley's going? Because he said.
We're going to come back to Mike Ashley and what's up with that because he's had some rather funny comments. We'll come back to those.
Well, I'll come back to that as well later.
The definite funny ones. But I mean, Mike Harniman, you wanted to jump back in. You wanted to jump back in regards to Liverpool.
Yeah, just kind of want to ask you a couple of questions, to be honest, Liam. Just because with Gerrard leaving, looks like Sterling could well be on his way as well. Like, what do you reckon Liverpool need to do to actually get up there and to challenge for Champions League again?
We need a quality striker first and foremost, and we need to strengthen the back line because it's all good. It's all good having like marauding fullbacks and that kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot that needs to go on. There definitely needs to be some more unity in that side because when times have gotten hard over the past couple months, the side lacked that continuity that we had when we were on a good run. So it's a case of cohesion needs to come back to the side. That's one of the more important things. Centre midfield is going to be a crucial position as well, because Joe Allen, good, not great. Jordan Henderson, if he's going to be the next captain, then he needs someone alongside him to help him out. Because you look at, say, United in the mid-90s, you had Keane as captain, but you had guys like Scholes, Giggs, and Beckham around him. So it's one of them was you not only had a true leader, questionable motives at some points, but not only did they have a true leader at that point, but there were quality players around him so that he didn't have to carry the ball by himself. This is one thing, and I said it last week after the Palace game. It's a case of we were still expecting Steven Gerrard to step up and do something in the Palace game. And it was Bergeron, no. Stop relying on one person to do something. The rest of the boys have to step up. And that's what's important. Stepping up. And also we need a proven goal scorer as well, because Sturridge is injury prone. So it's a case of, as white hot as he was as he was not this past season, but the season before, it was a case of the focus and the pressure wasn't totally on him because of Suarez. So you had two working in tandem. So when one wasn't performing, the other was performing. This season, it's been a case of Sturridge has been injured for most of it, and no one's taken up the slack. As good as Sterling thinks he is, or his agent thinks he is, which we're going to get onto next segment, there's a lot more that needs to be done. That is where I'd look at it.
Just to a second question as well, just briefly. If Sterling does go, do you think it's Jordan Ibe? Do you think it's his sort of time to come and shine now? Do you think it'd just be able to go straight into the team and sort of fill Sterling's role? Do you think he could do that straight away, or would you say give him a bit more time?
I think he could I personally think he could straight away. He went into the Championship, got seasoned a bit there, and that's a very competitive league. And the fact of the matter is, Jordan Ibe looks like he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's not got a mischievous, crap disturbing agent who we're going to get onto. So it's one of them as I could take that, but as said, I would want the team to step up. I'm not just looking at one person to replace one person. I'm looking at a team effort, because it's always the best team that wins, not the best individual. So it's one of them ones. There needs to be cohesion. I'd love to see Emre Can playing in centre mid. Love to see that. But we need quality at centre back. Skirtle has his shaky moments, and so does Sacco. So it's one that, and hey, the fullback positions. Glenn Johnson's going. Moreno is one of them ones where I'd love to take him under my wing and show him how to defend, because he loves getting forward, but hardly he gets caught out so much. But he's a young player; he's still learning. So it's just getting in a few proven players to help supplement the young players that are there. That's where I look at it. But Jamie Bailey, you wanted to jump in on the Premier League results from the weekend, well, from yesterday. And Mike, thanks for those questions, by the way. Jamie Bailey, you wanted to jump in on the Premier League final day results before we move on to the playoff finals.
Just wanted to, I think over the weekend, all of them results, obviously I've not really been keeping up with it all season. The results were just standard, really. Apart from the Stoke Liverpool one, which I didn't expect myself, and I don't think anybody else did. I think everything else was sort of a standards. West Brom sort of switched off against us. We just didn't perform against Sunderland. West Brom obviously got their biggest win on Monday against Chelsea, so it's almost a case of everybody just kind of switched off. Hull were a bit like Middlesbrough today, just didn't show up. Don't know why. I don't know how you can actually comprehend that you're in a relegation fight and you just don't score. as you can hear in the background, somebody's actually coming to catch me up.
They're coming for you, Jamie. Yep, they're coming for you. No, go on, man, carry on.
I like that you say that.
Sorry.
The siren gets progressively louder.
And it's not me doing it.
Yeah. So there was a few things that I noticed in the games, and everybody's talking about. And Liam, you probably already know this. Every single season, I've said the same thing for about 5 years now, or possibly 6. Wenger needs to go, and I've said that, and it's been proven right that we're playing the same tactics over and over again. Not just because of the players, but it's the tactics. If you're going to keep Walcott, then you need to give him more game time. If you're going to keep somebody like Wilshere, you're going to need to give him more game time. Players like Diaby are a waste of space, and he keeps faith with those players. But as far as I'm concerned, you can keep faith with the players if you change your tactics. Otherwise, you need to let them go. It's as simple as that. With Liverpool, I don't really know. The problem is that ever since Gerrard said that he was leaving, the whole place pretty much just went downhill. It just seemed like it was demoralised, and for some reason, that's what it was going to be. And Mike, yes, Walcott can play up front, but as far as Wenger's concerned, he's still a bench player. So we're not the managers. We just have to watch the game like fans. In terms of who's coming up, well, I still think that they may have a problem, regardless of whether I'm at one of the clubs already. I still think the biggest issue is going to be the same thing right throughout the league. If you do not buy properly and wisely, then you're going to find yourself at the wrong end of the table, or in a position that you don't want to be in if you finished in the top 4. And now, obviously, if Yaya Toure does go, you've lost Lampard and Toure as the main driving force behind Aguero. So there's no pick me up to say, yes, this is where we're going. So we'll see how everybody buys, and that's when I will make a prediction towards the start of the season. And if you guys come back to me in 3 months' time saying what's your prediction, then I'll give you a better prediction. But right now, I wouldn't put any money on who's going to win the Premier League and who's going to go down.
Oh no! Well, the dust hasn't even settled on this past season yet. So I mean, it's one of them. But it is going to be a very interesting summer for a lot of sides. I mean, we know Tottenham are going to buy to place 5th. But yeah, anyway, this one then was permanent mediocrity never looked so good. Because I know a few Tottenham fans in a certain Facebook group who are actually happy because they placed above Liverpool, and it's like, okay, if you're happy with that and placing 5th, all right, fine. It's one of them was progress. What progress? Anyway, but no, it's a case of there's interesting conundrums. There's interesting conundrums all round, and I mean, obviously, Arsenal jumped a position. They've got an FA Cup final where they could retain the FA Cup. And obviously, as I said, we'll be on Wembley Way on Saturday, 30th of May 2015. We will be on Wembley Way. Come and find us. Arsenal fans and Villa fans, come find us. We want your opinions. It's a case of landscapes are going to change this summer. Manchester City are going to want to get back up to actually mount a proper title challenge again, because this season it was a case of they started finding their form in like the last 4 games of the season when the deal was already done, and it's like, okay, cool. So it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. But you know what? Let's jump in to the playoff finals. Starting with Sky Bet League 2. Southend 1, Wickham 1. Southend United ended up winning 7-6 on penalties. And you know what? It is one of them ones. There was a Bentley OG on 95 minutes, and Piggott scored on 122 minutes. Second half of extra time, stoppage time in it as well. Southend 1, Wickham 1, and Southend went on to win 7-6 on penalties. Shifting on to Sunday, May 24th, 2015. Preston 4, Swindon 0. Jermaine backed a hat-trick, scored the first on 3 minutes, second on 44 minutes, and his third on 57 minutes, with Huntington scoring one on 13 minutes. And also the other playoff final, the £120 million game in the Sky Bet Championship, the playoff final, Middlesbrough 0, Norwich 2. Cameron Jerome opened the scoring on 12 minutes and Nathan Redmond scoring on 15 minutes. Tom Wood, I know you want to jump in on Southend v Wickham. Have at it. Your view.
All I can say, I was in tears basically when we scored, and I was also in tears when I was watching the penalties. I was trying not to cry too much, but at the end of the day, I was just bouncing up and down in my seat by jumping on it. But oh well, bring on League One.
No, I hear that. I mean, how good was Southend's performance against Wickham?
Say that again.
How good was Southend's performance against Wigan? What would you give if you had to give a number as a rating? What would you give?
10.
I hear that.
But I got earlier today. I got interviewed by the radio, so it was alright.
No, cool, man. Well, I mean, I got a question for you. In all honesty, being realistic, how well do you think Southend are going to do in League One, and where do you think you need to strengthen to survive in League One?
Everywhere. we definitely need a goal scorer, a young goal scorer. So hopefully somebody like Joe Pigott, but I don't think he'll come back because he wants to fight for his place at Charlton. But I think we need to strengthen in the defence a bit. Probably another goalie if Bentley goes, but there's loads of rumours going around that he's going, but I don't think he will. I think he loves the club too much.
Yeah, I hear that.
But there's everyone's just keep going on about when Brown signing this on this dotted line. Is he going to sign his 3-year deal? Or is he going to sign? Is he going to go? But there was rumours before the playoffs. If he didn't go up, he was going to walk.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that last week as well. I mean, do you honestly think he'll sign? And do you think he's the man to take Southend United forward? Do you think Phil Brown can take him forward?
Well, I reckon if he signs his contract, I think we'll go pretty far, to be honest. But I think he's got too many high ambitions. Like the chairman keeps promising him this new stadium, but I can't see the new stadium coming. But if we get this new training complex, I think it might persuade him to stay a bit longer. But I think he'll try and get us to the Championship, and then I think he'll probably walk after that.
Nice.
But to be honest, I think we'll finish in the top half next season. Because a lot of people I was seeing on the Empower League One banter page, people reckon that Southend are going to finish just outside the playoffs, and that they reckon Swindon and the Wigan are going to come in the top 2. But I'd be happy in the top half finish. But hopefully we do the double over Colchester.
The local
derby. We've got the Essex derbies back after 5 years. So League One, here we come.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And congratulations to Southend. Congratulations to Preston as well. And also congratulations to Norwich. Ryan Sonley, you wanted to jump in as well, didn't you?
I'm going to jump in on all three. I mean, Southend deserve it, but they were the best side that out of the playoffs because, I mean, we got beat by a Wickham team that were full of cheat, and then I'm glad Southend went on and beat the cheaters. So now, hopefully, we can do the double over them next season. Preston, well, I backed Swindon to win it because obviously they're from the southwest, and well, I was proven wrong. But Preston, they deserved it. Went all out and smashed it. They were brilliant. And today, don't get me started on this. I mean, I was wearing my Borough shirt with pride. I was so happy, buzzing for it. Cameron Jerome scoring, and then I thought, oh, this is going to be one of them days, isn't it? And then for Redmond to score as well, it just topped it off, and I just thought we've blown it because we weren't going to come back from 2-0 down at Wembley, where no other team have done it apart from, well, no other team have actually done 2-0. The only team that have come from behind in a playoff final as big as that is Blackpool when they beat Cardiff. And I'm just glad that it's over now. I mean, I took my shirt off and I just went, bugger it. There's always next season, and we'll look forward to it. And hopefully we can do well.
I hear that. I mean, there was actually a moment of history made in the Preston match, as it so happens, and that was Jermaine Beckford. I think because Jermaine Beckford is now only the third player
to score
in the playoffs to score a hat trick.
Playoff final.
Yeah, and the other two are actually Scott Sinclair and Clive Mendonca.
Now, which was back in '98, I remember.
Yeah, Clive Mendonca. It was one of them. I remember them days. Well, Chris Powell was actually still playing for Charlton at that point, and they were sponsored by Mesh computers. So that's how long ago that was.
I mean,
so it's
I've been around since all three of them hat tricks. So, I mean, Beckford deserved his hat trick. He was out of this world. And for me to say that I hate Leeds and he used to play for Leeds, I can mind and I will say that he was the best player of this weekend.
Well, stuff
out
of the week.
Playoffs.
Well, stuff of the week is coming up later on in the show, so we're gonna get into that.
Any questions for me?
I was going to say as well, we are going to come into stuff of the week later on in the show. But Mike Harniman, you wanted to come in on the playoffs as well, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, like I was saying in the chat, really, I thought Southend deserved to win. They played really well yesterday. They, basically, they performed really well against us in the semi-finals and deserved to go through. And to show that much fight all the way through until the 122nd minute, when they got the equalising goal, I kind of knew from that they'd go on and win. And yeah, I'm just really pleased for them. I think they'll do well in League One. If we can do it where we got promoted with Stevenage from League Two via the playoffs, and then the following season, we were basically we've made the playoffs even when Wesley left. So if you keep Phil Brown, keep a similar sort of squad, add sort of one or two players, I think you'll be pushing up for promotion again next season in League One.
I mean, Tom Wood, you wanted to jump in as well?
Yeah, all I can say is that I just want to give a big shout out to them supporters who left the game when we scored.
Yeah, you know what? Hey,
and I can say they're monks for doing that. They're idiots. They didn't get let back in, but
but you know what? It's one of them. Was we've said on shows for years, never ever leave a football match early. Because what's it? When Arsenal were 4-0 down a couple of years ago against Newcastle, it was like hold on a second. Why are you leaving at half time? I've never ever gotten that gimmick of leaving a match early, especially if you're paying top dollar for those tickets. Why are you going to leave early? You may as well get your money's worth and stay for the whole damn thing. But it's one of them. But you know what? I said Jermaine Beckford made a moment of history. But one thing that really did put the agony and the ecstasy of the Football League or the Football League playoff finals into sharp perspective was actually something that we put on that I actually shared in the Pitch Talk Facebook group. And basically, yeah, the Football League said a final sad note to end today on. We were privileged to have 33-year-old mum and huge Preston North End fan Linda Moon and her family with us today. Her incurable cancer means it could be the last match she sees. Puts winning and losing a football game in perspective. And you know what? It is one of them ones where we here at Pitch Talk would like to give a big shout out to Preston North End fan Linda Moon and her family as well, because as I said, we do have to remember as much as we all love football, as much as we talk about it, as much as we get angry about it, we've seen hooliganism with people fighting over it and all that kind of thing. It's one of them ones where, to coin a phrase from a 90s game show reference here, it's only a game. It's only a game, so put up a real good fight. Anyway, in all due seriousness, it is one of them ones. That kind of story there, and also relating it back to Jonas Gutierrez as well. It's a case of those are the kind of things that put football into real perspective, and is why I can get annoyed at certain results, like say the Liverpool one. But considering an international continental talking point that we've got, and even a general talking point that we've got, there are some things that are legitimately bigger than the game, and there are a lot of things that happen off the pitch that have, on a personal note, changed my perspective. And it's a case of there's a lot more to football than just what goes on the pitch. Winning and losing is all good, but you know what? Yeah, I'm actually going to let Mike Harniman kind of sum up what I'm trying to say, because he's just done it brilliantly in the Skype chat. Mike, please read out what you just said in the Skype chat.
Yeah, I will. Basically, like I was saying, it's sad news to hear about that, but at least she had the day to remember, because obviously the manner of their win by going out there winning 4-0. So just want to say well done to Preston for making that happen. And, you know, if that's the final game she does get to see, then it's one they'll always remember as a family in that as well, because obviously the manner of how they went out there and done the job yesterday.
Yeah, you know, I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, it's just a really good way to just encapsulate it. And Mike, thank you for that as well, by the way. You know what? We got a text through from Big T, everybody's favorite Roman. Yeah, we threw them T's up. Evening, gentlemen. I hope you're well. How's Liverpool these days? I hear it. Their new kickoff next season will start at 6-1. Oh, good lord. I also hear that the odds on Liverpool to keep a clean sheet, Brendan Rodgers in the bedroom, doesn't count, by the way, against Stoke. Against Stoke was an astounding 6-1. All jokes aside, I'm disappointed in the sackings of both Carlo Ancelotti and Nigel Clough as managers of their respective clubs. We're going to get into that in general talking points. Where are we? Yeah, respective clubs. I think that they deserve more time to build a dynasty at their teams, but sadly football doesn't work like that these days. I'm sure that Clough and Ancelotti will both be back in the game real soon. As for Sam Allardyce, we all knew deep down at the end of the day he would leave West Ham at the end of the season, but it's still sad to see a decent manager and former Notts County manager, have to be said, leave a club after a good spell. I hope Big Sam comes back into the game real soon, hopefully with the England national team. I believe Sam Allardyce, along with Ian Holloway, would make good honest managers for England, provided the media and supporters give either of them a chance. Anyhow, can you please all clap and applaud myself, Straight Shooting LJ, for providing you, the Pitch Talkers, with another powerful demonstration. Another powerful oral demonstration this evening. Careful, ladies. On a side note, Uwe Rosler, hope you like fighting relegation next season. From the man, always with a plan, Detective John Kimball, aka Douglas Quaid, aka Big T. He's mentioned a couple of the general talking points that we're actually gonna swing on to. So you know what? It is one of them ones. Let's pause that track that we're on, and whilst those managerial movements and shakings, I was going to say shakements, but that wouldn't have made any sense. While those moving and shakings in the managerial scene are fresh in the mind, let's go into
Goodness.
Throw them tees up. Throw them tees up. Throw them tees up for Big T. La-da-da, la-da-da, la-da-da. Break it down. Break it down. Cause it's general. Talking points. This is Monday night and it's general talking points. There's been some managerial movements and shakings or shakements. This is your Monday night footballing fix. With two of your co-hosts in the house with the Skypers and also the tweeters. This is Pitch Talk. Yeah, you know what? General talking points. Let's start with managers first and foremost. Jose Mourinho and Eden Hazard claim Premier League awards. Chelsea are celebrating an awards double with Jose Mourinho and Eden Hazard being voted the Premier League's manager and player of the year, respectively. Mourinho led Chelsea to their first league title in 5 years, while forward Hazard led the way on the pitch with 14 goals and 8 assists. Mourinho, despite not winning a single Manager of the Month award, was chosen from a 5-strong list of candidates drawn up by the Premier League, with others being Ronald Koeman, Gary Monk, Nigel Pearson, and Arsene Wenger included as well. 4 Chelsea players were actually among the list from 8, which Hazard was chosen. The others were John Terry, Cesc Fabregas, Nemanja Matic, and also Hazard. But Hazard made it a personal trouble, already having claimed the PFA and Football Writers Awards. The other 4 in potential Man City striker and Golden Boot winner Sergio Aguero, goalkeeper David De Gea of Man United, Tottenham's PFA play and young player of the year Harry Kane, and Alexis Sanchez of Arsenal. Now, that's one managerial success. But there's been movements. Teddy Sheringham named as Stevenage manager after leaving West Ham role. Sheringham, who's 49, replaces Graham Wesley in the summer. The former Man United forward has left his role as an attacking coach. The 49-year-old will join the League Two club on the 31st of May officially, because that's when Graham Wesley's contract expires on the 31st of May. So carrying on, a statement on the club's website. Stevenage have confirmed that former Man United, Tottenham, West Ham and England international Teddy Sheringham will take over as manager in the summer. The 49-year-old will arrive at the Laming Stadium from West Ham, where he spent last season as attacking coach. Sticking with West Ham right about now. Yeah, look at sticking with West Ham. Sam Allardyce says he agreed West Ham exit as Steve Bruce faces whole questions. Sam Allardyce claims, "I knew it was coming," of his West Ham departure as he left yesterday. Now, Allardyce claimed his parting with West Ham was by mutual consent and that he has no immediate plans to return to management. Speaking after the loss at Newcastle yesterday, he said, "I knew it was coming. There's no problem. I've had the discussion with the owners and we both agree it's the right time to move on. I've just told players seasons. I've really enjoyed the opportunity managing a great club like West Ham. The job has been a great pleasure. I've really enjoyed it and done everything I was asked. I don't want to be in charge of a football club in August. If and when I come, I need to have recharged my batteries." It sounds disgusting, but anyway, it might be Kerbal Rad. I'm going to strike one. It might be a year's time. It might be Christmas time. It's just when the right job comes up. But I can't see myself being in charge of a football club at the start of next season. Moving on, Nigel Clough was actually sacked on May 25th, 2015 Today, Monday, 25th of May 2015, Nigel Clough was sacked as manager of Sheffield United. The Blades reached the semi-finals of the Capital One Cup but finished 5th in League One and failed to gain promotion through the playoffs. A statement on the club's website said a change in direction was necessary for the forthcoming season. Nigel Clough, who's 49, had managerial spells at Burton, Albion and Derby County as manager before replacing David Weir at Bramall Lane in October 2013. Even more movements and shakings today again. Derby County have terminated the contract of head coach Steve McLaren. The Championship club said they had made the decision following a thorough review of the 2014-2015 season. McLaren, who's 54, who has been strongly linked with the managerial job at Newcastle, joined Derby County in September 2013 and led them to the Championship playoff final in 2014. They actually only got 12 points from their last 13 matches. So it's one of them was that talks in terms of wheels falling off. Good gravy. All they needed was a draw on the last day to get into the playoffs, but they botched and lost 3-0 at home to Reading. So there's that little interesting sidebar, but that has cost Steve McLaren his job. Another person who was a little concerned about losing his job, and that was Carlo Ancelotti, who said yesterday on the 24th of May 2015, Real Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti said he will take a year off from management if he was sacked by the Spanish club. He's had 1 year left on his 3-year contract, and apparently there is speculation that Rafael Benitez is poised to replace him. But he said, "My future is clear in my head. I will continue here at Real Madrid, or I will stop for a year." I think we're going to meet next week to clarify the future of the club. He was speaking after Real Madrid's 7-3 victory over Getafe. Now, 25th of May 2015, today, Carlo Ancelotti has been sacked of Real Madrid after 2 seasons in charge of the Spanish club. He led them to the Spanish Cup before claiming La Decima, the 10th European Champions League or European Cup last season. But this year they were knocked out by Juve in the semi-finals and Barcelona won La Liga. Ancelotti's side finished second, 2 points behind Barcelona, who reached the Spanish Cup and Champions League finals. Club President Florentino Perez told a news conference it had not been an easy decision before thanking Ancelotti and adding that a new manager would be appointed in the coming week. That's quite a tight kind of window in terms of hiring a new manager. But it is one of them ones. So we've got Ancelotti gone. Ancelotti fired. Steve McLaren fired. Nigel Clough fired. Sam Allardyce walked by mutual consent. And Teddy Sheringham has been hired. And you know what? Mourinho and Eden Hazard getting player of the season, manager of the season, I haven't actually got a problem with. Eden Hazard has been superb. He has legitimately been absolutely superb, so a deserving player of the season there. Mourinho won the title and won it by quite a distance as well with Chelsea. The only other person I really would have looked at in terms of a manager of the season would have been Nigel Pearson, because it's one of them was Leicester since January have just absolutely smashed it, like I said already. So it'd be one of them was, and it was unexpected as well. Chelsea last year, you can see that all they needed was a prolific goal scorer, and boom, they're in it. So it's one of them was with Leicester City. Nigel Pearson never lost the belief. So it's one of them was, but Teddy Sheringham, his first managerial job, going to Stevenage. That's going to be very interesting. We got a couple of the PT family on Skype who are going to jump in on this as well. But Sheringham having his first role in League Two with Stevenage, smart move. Rather than taking one in the Premier League or the Championship where there's a lot of pressure and it's very competitive, I think it's smart. Sheringham taking on Stevenage, and obviously Graham Wesley stepping aside, and it's like, you know what? It's a smart move. It's a smart move. As an attacking coach at West Ham, I think it's a case of, obviously, I think Sheringham's going to bring in people who can help him. Similar to what I've suggested in terms of Brendan Rodgers, bring in people who can help you. I think that's what Sheringham will be smart enough to do. But it's one of them ones. This is the start of his coaching journey, and good luck with him. Good luck to him. Sam Allardyce, the writing had been on the wall for a bit, but hopefully Gold and Sullivan have not judged that based on the last 7 games, as was alluded to about a month or two ago. West Ham, I think this season, Sam Allardyce has almost become a victim of increased expectation. Similar to Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool. Allardyce and Rodgers had really good seasons last season, and the expectations got jacked up. And I think they've become victims of it because they've not done as well as was expected because of the goalposts being moved. That's my take on it. Nigel Clough, I think it's one of them ones where he's gotten sacked because it seems like, yeah, they got to the Capital One Cup semi-finals, but I think Sheffield United ran out of steam in the playoffs. It's one of them ones. They failed to gain promotion through the playoffs. So it was a case of with them finishing fifth. It was one of them ones where I think the cup run really kind of took Sheffield United's eye off the ball and wore them out a little more than they probably expected. So I think that's what's cost Nigel Clough his job. Derby County, Steve McLaren, 12 points from their last 13 games was one of them ones that was like, you just can't have that. You really can't have that sort of capitulation happening. Especially when you were that close. Especially on the last day was just insult to injury when they lost 3-0. Carlo Ancelotti getting sacked. Real Madrid, probably the most fickle team in the world when it comes to managers, and the parasitic media, namely Marca, have basically fed that through and perpetuated that so that their fans are like that. Most of their fans are like that as well. Not all Real Madrid fans are like that. I'm not going to tar everyone with the same brush. But the fact of the matter is that is an extremely fickle club in terms of managers. You can win La Liga all you want, but if you ain't winning the Champions League, you'll be showing the door. I think Fabio Capello proved that. So it's one of them. Jazzy Fizzle, you want to jump in on these?
Yeah, I think the biggest exception here is obviously Carlo Ancelotti, in that unfortunately for anybody who manages Real Madrid, this is what happens. It's win or go home, like literally. Either you win everything all the time, or you get sacked. Or if you don't do it in a certain way, you get sacked. And that's literally how it works. I mean, obviously Jose Mourinho was there. He won something there. He ends up having to go. And this is how the club is run. It's absolutely crazy. Especially as what you'd really like is some sort of sustained success. And if you look at, for example, Barcelona when they had Pep Guardiola in charge, there was a good consistent period of one man being in charge and that vision being filtered through the whole team. So I'm hoping the same happens with Luis Garcia, because what you'll see then is domination through the consistency of having the same manager there. Without the absolutely redonkulous expectation of, you have to win everything, win it in style, or else you'll get fired. Or even if you do that, we'll still fire you anyway because it's not commercial enough, right? Which was the case with Jose Mourinho. Like, they won it, but they didn't win it in this grandiose style, So for me, listen, as it is, it's also to be expected because that's just how the club is run, right? In terms of some of the others, though, I think, as you said, Teddy Sheringham going over to Stevenage, good move for him. Very good move for him. I think, as you say, depending on who's around him and his cast of supporting characters in terms of coaches, that would be very interesting. I think attacking-wise, he can probably take care of that in a very hands-on way. But in terms of, other positions, other areas of the field, as you say, if you have a coach that will deal with the midfield specifically, a coach that will deal with defense, and organization of the team defensively, then I see that working. It really is, as you say, about who else is there around him as part of the supporting cast. I think Steve McLaren, when you break it down, that run of 12 points from 13 games, that really didn't help him at all in terms of his case for staying on as manager. But at the same time, it's like, for me, you can see that there's a lot of good there. And maybe with the changes, and I'm talking about maybe one or two players, not that many, right? And, the wisdom of having gone through that season, not just for the players, but for the staff as well. I think if he'd have stayed there, you'd have seen a very, very different team next season that would be much more consistent. But obviously, we won't have that now, with him being gone. In terms of Sam Allardyce, I think you do raise a very interesting point. He is a victim of his success, but he's also a victim of let's be honest, right? Generally speaking, his teams do not play, historically, very attractive football. And I don't know if it's delusions of grandeur at West Ham because they had someone that played attractive football but didn't necessarily, get them to the heights where Sam is now, for example, in Gianfranco Zola, just to use one, example. As I say, his West Ham played very attractive attacking football, lots of pretty triangles, lots of intricate stuff. But in terms of them getting the finishes that Big Sam has got historically over his career, especially in the Premier League, that didn't happen. So it's kind of, what do you want? Do you want pretty football, but to be in a relegation, lower table discussion? Or do you want something that's not necessarily pretty every week, but effective and, has you with a bit more hope for things like Europe, etc., etc.? There's a big trade-off there. Now, the interesting thing is that, the owners, I don't think they particularly want Big Sam there. I know a lot of West Ham fans that don't want him there, but as I say, you have to really think about what you're losing. He stabilized the team. The team has performed, sufficiently. Yeah. This is the other thing, right? Let's not forget that, greatness does take a bit of time to build. If you want something great, it's going to take a while. I use Manchester United as an example. A lot of Manchester United fans, especially younger Manchester United fans, forget that for a very long time, Manchester United, they were an average team. The point is they were awful. And the team had to be reconstrued in a totally different image before anything good happened. So here's the other thing. With West Ham now, I think if you look at it, again, it's going to take a couple of players to go in, go out. But this is a very good, solid side. And that's what you need to be if you're going to build anything. So you take Big Sam out, I say, who goes and takes over that job? In terms of this appealing, attractive style of football that you want. Who takes over that? Who's the main target for West Ham as a manager? I really don't know. I mean, you're not really going to get anybody who's top of the top. I think the absolute best chance they would have had would have been to get a Roberto Martinez, but he went to Everton. Right? And there's talk about bringing David Moyes. Right? If you want David Moyes to turn West Ham into Everton, then okay. That works. Right? But here's the other thing. Right? David Moyes went to arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world, didn't do very well. Right? And if you're going to be where you are now, where you have this, I suppose, elevated expectation that's much higher than where it should be, what do you think is going to happen there? Right? Because at Manchester United, let's be honest, David Moyes had expectations right where they should have been and really didn't live up to billing. Now, whether or not that's entirely his own fault, that's a whole other discussion all entirely for a previous show. Right? But at the same time, I just wonder who goes and takes on that job if you go and you get rid of Big Sam. Because it's a matter of, okay, so he did that well, over the last few seasons, and you got rid of him. What are you going to do to the next guy?
But see,
what is the next guy supposed to achieve? What's the goal there? What's the aim there?
Yeah, but see, that's the question. But that's also a question that I always ask, though. Is just a case of, if you're getting rid of someone, Who better than Big Sam? That was exactly what I thought when I saw Big Sam had walked out. It was like, who better than Big Sam? With all due respect to rest in peace, Chris Canyon. Who better? Sorry, Jesse, do you want to carry on?
So yeah, it raises a lot of questions. You know, even the situation over at Newcastle to me is very interesting because here's my thing: John Carver clearly is not that guy. He's not the guy. So for me, he needs to be replaced. But then who replaces him? Who wants to go to Newcastle with the structure that they've got? Right? Who takes that over? So that's going to be very interesting. You know, in terms of a comparison, say for example, with West Ham, where West Ham are safe by comparison to Newcastle, where Newcastle are not only looking for a bus driver but a conductor and a route master as well. Actually looking for a bus to get on, as well as the driver and the conductor. So here's the thing, sometimes in life we say we don't know what we've got till it's gone, and I think that's going to be the case with West Ham.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? It's one that was. That's one point. That's one phrase. I actually want to stick on for a bit. But before that, Mike Harniman, you wanted to jump in on a couple of these issues. Then we're going to throw the Ryan Solly. Then we're going to throw the Jamie Bailey. So So Mike, you want to jump in first?
Yeah, it's about Sheringham. I think it's a really strange appointment because Wesley had already got us up into the playoffs, pushed us up there. We were kind of sitting, in the playoffs. We were kind of. This was happening for weeks. Like I've got contacts at the club. This has been happening before the playoffs. They even knew we were in the playoffs and stuff. And it just wouldn't have helped the players out at all. They wouldn't be focused on what they needed to do to get the team promoted. Because half of these players, about 13 players, since Wesley has gone, they've all been released. We've had our old captain be released. Half of the squad basically has been released now. And I don't think Sheringham's going to know too much about the kind of players to get in with League Two experience. I think he'll know the youth players from West Ham who might come good in the future and stuff and might be able to help out a little bit. But we've got a squad. I don't know what Sheringham really thinks is involved in management. If all he's got is 12 players, doesn't have his assistant lined up, doesn't have anything lined up yet. He doesn't even he basically come out and said, "Oh, I've got to arrange the pre-season now." He hadn't even thought about it before jumping in. So I was surprised by that, and I think the only way that we'll go if it doesn't work is we'll go back to Wesley for a fourth time. So I just don't understand that.
How long would you give Sheringham though?
Go on. Oh, I'll give him a season or two. I'll give him a couple of seasons to see how he becomes. But I think the only reason we've taken a punt on Sheringham in the first place, and hit me out on this as well, is because at the moment we're trying to make the stand behind the goal, which is only 100, 200 people stand at the moment, just kind of, they were kind of squashed in together. We're trying to make that all-seater. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get somebody with a reputation who will hopefully increase the fan base, increase the stature of the club. But if the performances are not coming on the pitch and we haven't got the right assistant or the right team of players together, people are not just going to go and watch Teddy Sheringham. If the same happens every week and you're still losing or you're still not performing on the pitch. So I think Phil Wallace, what he's doing is he's doing that to boost the attendances, which I don't know if that's going to work because we've got the Arsenals, Tottenhams, the West Ham's quite local, Chelsea, Watford who are in the Premier League as well for next season. We've got a lot to compete with, and I think the fact that we've gone with Sheringham over somebody who's got League Two experience, and even keeping Wesley as well, I think would have made a big difference for next season because pushing up for the playoffs, sitting there in the playoffs, and then him coming out and saying, "Oh, four more players coming in," would actually help us push on again towards next season, and we could even get promoted automatically and stuff. The way he said that, it's like, well, then why would you want to leave? It just doesn't add up for me. I think something's gone on, and something's not right.
See, you know what? That's an interesting way of looking at it. That is one of them ones. The future looks so rosy, and then dude just walks away, and it's like, there might be something more that meets the eye. We'll keep tabs on this actually, because it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. I mean, did you want to jump on the other movements and shakings in terms of managers as well?
Not really. Like, it's mostly just the Sheringham one, to be honest. But I think with Leeds, I think Juve Rosler, I think he could be a good appointment for Leeds as well. I think for next season, I think he could do a job for Leeds. I think he's got the experience with was it Wigan and Brentford?
Yeah.
He's got quite good experience with them. So I think for Leeds, he could do a decent job of pushing them up to sort of the right end of the table again.
Yeah, no, I heard that. I mean, Ryan Sonley, you wanted to jump in as well, didn't you?
Yeah, well, me and Mike were doing a little prank, as you can call it, on Stevenage and West Ham in the week, and saying, before Sheringham wasn't, the rumours were announced, and we were trying to see if we could push it forward, and we felt like both clubs went, nah, it's just rumours. And then 2 minutes after we ended both calls, it's on both websites, and we were like, wow, what have we done? And I mean, to be honest, it's a good shout for Sheringham to come down to lower league football to start his managerial reigns, and I hope to give him the best for Stevenage, because if he can get players in like himself when he was a youngster, and even when he was at Man United in '99, if he can get players like that, then Stevenage probably could walk this league.
Oh, that's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. I mean, we'll see.
Me and Mike were just shocked when, like, as soon as we ended the calls on both clubs, that they were they didn't know anything. They were just saying it's rumours. Next minute, it's up on the website, and Mike can agree for this as well.
Well, the thing is, it is one of them ones where a lot of, rumors are actually very, very easy to spread, which is why we don't deal in them, because obviously they're rumors, they're not true, they're not fact. But it's actually kind of concerning that, as soon as you spread a rumor, it's up on a website. It's like, okay. Deadline day will be coming in about 2 months time. So it's one of them was get ready for that. Get ready for the madness. Oh yeah, dig it.
Yeah, Lionel Messi signing for Argo, isn't he?
Yeah, well, it's one of them ones. But you know what, Jamie Bailey, you wanted to jump in as well before we move on. Jamie, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, man.
Yeah. Basically, my theory to what he said is, you look at Alex Neil. Did anybody know who he was? Nope. I'm wearing Norwich now. Premier League. Not to say that they didn't already have the players, but he could have lost the dressing room straight away. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's what happened with Chris Hughton. He decided to get rid of Grant Holt. All of a sudden, he's now looking for backup players to try and push the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, granted that Burton were pretty much already their own squad. He could have gone the wrong way, but he's pretty much got them into League One. I think the thing is that as much as people are saying, oh well, the time is gone, it's a bit like a catch-22 situation. as far as it's concerned, you can leave. You can be like Brentford. You have to move on. You have to move on. It's just that simple. You can't just keep on with the same manager. Yes, Arsenal have done it, but I've been saying it for the last 6 years. It's time to go. Time to move on. Obviously, they don't want to let him go. That's not my choice. Looking at Real Madrid's situation, when you have my problem is not to do with the manager. It's to do with the background stuff. It's to do with the background team. And the reason why I say the background team is because the King of Spain also has a stake within Real Madrid. So therefore, he gets to choose what happens with the country as well as the club. So therefore, that's pretty much, if you see what's going on in the politics, it's pretty much the same that's going on with Real Madrid. Barcelona have just decided to disband whatever happens with the country and gone and done their own thing.
But the thing is, politics and football are actually not supposed to mix.
Yeah, I know.
If FIFA get wind of it, then
yeah, well, it happens.
You never
it
know.
happens. That's what happens. I've been at QPR. That's what happens. Yeah, Real Madrid and QPR have the same problem. They don't have a structure. It's as simple as that. Looking at Steve McLaren and Big Sam, they can always swap. That'd be good. Steve McLaren, or you can get in, as I said, hashtag Harry Redknapp for West Ham. Redknapp for West Ham. You never know. Harry for Hammers. There we go. That could always work. I look at most of these new appointments already, and yes, a good thing, but I think it's a good timing just for some of the clubs, because they're now moving into the pre-season and they now need to know what's going on. But I think for the time being, maybe they need to start thinking ahead without logistics first. Because if you look at Ronald Koeman, he came in with all the experience in the world into a club that was pretty much told you're going down. All of a sudden, they're nearly Europa League, possibly still Europa League if we win on Saturday. To do with all the other managerial sackings that have happened around the world, even the Mauritius head coach. That's down to him being too authoritarian. He decided not to mix it up, and he paid the price for it. So if you're going to be finding somebody at probably so professional level that you have to be the World Cup champions, when you're in a team that's pretty much known as not even semi-pro amateur country, then you're going to lose the dressing room. You're going to lose everybody's backing and everything. But for me, to weigh up all the options, Real Madrid, Carlo Ancelotti was bound to leave. They were never going to give him the time, regardless of how many times people say to me that politics and football shouldn't mix. Blatter, there we go. That's just one word.
Well, hang on to
happens.
that point, because we're going to come back to Blatter in spades. I guarantee you. I guarantee.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with people talking about Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers shouldn't have to leave. And if they do get rid of him, then there is maybe one or two that can probably replace him, but they're not known right now. The ones that can probably replace him probably are within Liverpool Football Club, or maybe you're gonna have to find somebody that knows what they're doing, like Roberto Di Matteo, and that's probably not going to be good for the club or for Roberto.
Well, we're not going to speculate on that at the moment, but it's gonna be one of them ones. Well, we're not going to speculate on Rodgers' job at the moment, because a load of rumors, but there's no fact yet. But the way it is, but the way it is at the moment, in terms of what is shaking with these managerial movements and shakings already, it's a case of I think extent the common, at least in part, is expectation. That Sheffield United seemed to have, I think they were expecting to get promoted, into the Championship via the playoffs. I think they were expecting that, and the sacrifice in terms of the cup run they took their eye off the ball. I think Derby County were expecting to get into the playoffs in the Championship, but didn't. And I think Real Madrid, on the general basis, are expected to win everything, which is skewed at best. And I said West Ham. It's a case of Allardyce became victim of the expectations that were raised after last season. That's where I would see it. So it's kind of just. Because of time, we got kind of round out on that point. But Jamie, if you want to close that point, because we've still got another general talking point to move on to.
Oh yeah. Just wanted to finish off. I would probably say, as you said, looking at Nigel Clough, as you said, with all the expectations, if you do it's like even being on pitch talk. If you do one very good show, you have to be consistent, and that's the problem. If that's probably what's happened at Real Madrid. All the others, if you've done something the previous year or the previous week or the previous day, everybody now starts to think just like all around the world. Everybody now starts to think that you're that good and that you can keep it at a consistent level. Just on the pitch, even for Ibis, you can probably show how good you are, and then all of a sudden, 1 week later, everybody starts calling you rubbish because you've had a bad day. Then the next week, all of a sudden, and that's what they're looking for, consistency. But when you don't have a structure, and this is why I keep telling, for me as a coach, it's always a problem, because every time I've gone somewhere, there's never been a structure, regardless of where I've gone. Apart from maybe 2 clubs, it's always been free-flowing, whatever. If there is a structure, then just like any kid or just like any player, they will know what they have to do.
Well, I said,
it's
one of them was at Ibis. We do have a structure, and if someone has a bad game, we don't get on their backs. No matter what team you're in, we ain't getting on anyone's back. But I mean, it's one. No, I think you're right though. It's a case of top. It's a case of having the structure from the top down is of paramount importance, and that's what every single club needs, is structure, and a very defined structure. I mean, I know I just have a structure because I'm part of it, and it's one of them ones where, I mean, structures have to be put into place and they have to be followed through long term as well. And this is one of the major problems in terms of current football, that a lot of teams are not willing to bed down for the long term, put a long-term strategy in place and actually follow it. So that's one of the major issues. But you know what? Speaking of long-term, actually, and thank you for your opinions, by the way, guys, in the Skype chat. Speaking of long-term, Henrik Larsson, and there's a reason why we're going to mention this first. Henrik Larsson, players should forget money and develop. Sweden's top flight players earn too much money, and youngsters should see the league as a chance to develop rather than become rich, according to Helsingborg's manager, Henrik Larsson. We're going back to come forward, because this is from 25th of March 2015. The former Celtic and Barcelona and Man United star, who started and ended his career at Helsingborg, was speaking at a media day to launch the 2015 Allsvenskan season. Appointed help by Helsingborg last November, Golden Boot winner Larsson took over at a club that, although known as a powerhouse in Swedish football, found itself struggling financially. To arrest the alarming economic slide, Larsson decided the fat wage package paid by the club would be a thing of the past. With Helsingborg's blessing, he introduced the salary cap to be reported as a modest 40,000 Swedish crowns, 3,159 a month, about half the average wage of the Swedish top flight in general. I won't comment on the sums, but I will say it's not the wages that Helsingborg used to pay in the past, Larsson told Reuters in an interview. I don't mind players earning money, but it should mean at the same time the club is doing good. If the club is doing good, the club is getting income, then the club can share it with the players. But when the situation is not going according to plan, you have to look at the financial bit and see what you can change. He has said, I think that the average wage in Sweden is too high. They won't be financially independent from the money they earn here. They earn good money, but I think there has to be the desire to develop, to go on to a bigger league and earn your money there. So he's talking in terms of young players. And he recommended that young Allsvenskan League players seeking to emulate his success, and that of former Malmo striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic should play to develop their game rather than their bank account. He does say Helsingborg's wage cap might have restricted his options a little, but Larson said the chance to work with one of Europe's greatest finishers himself may have helped attract players. It's always difficult, but there are always players that have the desire to do something with their football, the 43-year-old said. There are players who tend not to look at the money short term. They have a bigger plan. I haven't found it that hard to attract good players to the club. Now, another thing. This is one thing that we've been meaning to mention for a while, and this from the 1st of April 2015. Young players could be at risk of exploitation because of changes to football agents' rules, according to agent David Seligman. FIFA's global licensing system for agents was ended on April 1st, and it's now supervised in individual countries. The deregulation means someone with an impeccable reputation can now, in inverted commas, now pay £500 to register with the Football Association as an intermediary. The obvious problem will be exploitation, Seligman told BBC Sport. If you're a 16, 17-year-old lad and you've got two people trying to sign you, you're going to sign with the middle-aged lawyer who knows the rules and regulations inside out and will negotiate a deal properly, or are you going to sign with the guy who doesn't know the rules and regulations but will take you clubbing, buy the watches and drive the nice cars? There's a reason why we're mentioning this. World Football Governing Body FIFA argues that the new system will be more transparent, given only 25 to 30% of international transfers are concluded by licensed agents. Professional Footballers Association Chairman Gordon Taylor says it may help make transfer fees clearer. Mel Stein, chairman of the Association of Football Agents, says deregulation will lead to a wild west of agents and create anarchy, and that's coming from the chairman of the Association of Football Agents, that it might create a wild west. But Seligman, who works for Carlton Moore Solicitors and represents several Football League players, added a player could end up signing with someone who isn't insured and will not be qualified for several years. Those sort of guys are going to be out and representing players without having the necessary skill or qualification to do so. It could cause problems down the line. Prospective agents used to have to pass an exam featuring questions on contract legalities, immigration rules and registration laws, and also had to pay a bond for insurance purposes. But the deregulation from football, from World Football's governing body FIFA, means that qualification is no longer required. Now, Mel Stein, chairman of the Association of Football Agents, is appealing against the change of rules and has said he thinks it's wrong that a bloke in the pub, in inverted commas, could now offer to represent players. FIFA couldn't cope, so they decided to hand it over to the individual territories, he said. I can see the bloke in the pub who knows a parent or a footballer's dad saying, I'll represent you, and then undercutting everyone. Football Players Union chief Gordon Taylor said, I suppose there's an attempt there to increase transparency, but you just wonder how difficult it will be to keep track of. But there is a need for transparency in transfer fees. If this leads to more of that, then good. Now, the reason why we preface what we're going on to next with that is because 21st of May 2015, Raheem Sterling's representative has said the forward won't sign a new deal with Liverpool and branded club legend Jamie Carragher, and I apologise for this language, a knob. AD Ward, who has been heavily criticised by pundits over his handling of the situation, told the Evening Standard that the forward wouldn't agree to a new contract even if Liverpool offered nearly £1 million a week, as Jesse Fizzle mentioned earlier in the show. I don't care about the PR of the club and the club situation. I don't care. He is definitely not signing. He's not signing for 700, 800 or 900,000 a week. He is not signing. My job is to make sure I do the best with them, my clients. If people say I am bad at my job or they are badly advised, it does not matter. Sterling has already turned down a £100,000 per week deal and was booed at the club's award ceremonies. Carragher, who was speaking on Jamie Carragher, who was speaking on Sky Sports at the time, lambasted Ward over his actions in contract negotiations and told Sterling to change his agent. To which Shady Ward said, Carragher is a knob. Everybody knows it. And again, I apologise for dropping that word. Any of the criticism from current pundits or ex-Liverpool players, none of those things matter to me. It's not relevant. Ward told this Evening Standard. Now, AD Ward is a case of he cut his teeth with Impact Sports Management ran by Rob Siegel, both respected names in the business, with clients including Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Saido Berahino, and of course Raheem Sterling. AD Ward is now going it alone and has established his own agency. Keep that in mind. And Sterling, along with Berahino, have moved with him. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is also thought to be joining as well. Now the spotlight is on Ward, and now his clients have acted over the past few months. Berahino gave an unsolicited interview in February, which angered his club, who now reportedly have no plans to initiate contract talks and will consider selling the striker in the summer. Now, prefacing it with that, Liverpool cancelled Friday's meeting with Raheem Sterling and his agent AD Ward following AD Ward's explosive interview with the Evening Standard. The club were due to meet the unhappy forward and discuss his refusal to sign a new contract, but Liverpool have now pulled out of talks as a result of Ward's intervention on Thursday. The news was reported by the Press Association at the Times, amongst other sources. The Times reported, in the most telling indication yet of the seriousness of the breakdown in relations between the two camps, Liverpool and Ward, they believe a meeting would be pointless given the nature of the outspoken comments attributed to the Kent-based agent in the London's Evening Standard. Although Ward has since denied making the remarks and is understood to be considering his legal options, the newspaper has stuck by its story and continued to run it on its website. As a result, Liverpool feel the entire process has been compromised by such an unseemly sequence of events and have called off their planned summit as a result. Now, Roy Hodgson has weighed in on this as well on May 21st of 2015. England manager Roy Hodgson worries about the spotlight young players are put under and believes a lack of strong family support can leave them vulnerable to outside influences. He said, I worry for all these young players, to be honest, said Hodgson. They become stars very quickly. Their period of potential stardom doesn't last for very long these days. Sometimes a few games in the Premier League and you are a star. Jack Grealish is a good example of that, isn't it? A few months ago, he was playing in Aston Villa's reserve. Suddenly, he's in the first team, and now we regard him as a star as well. We should never forget we are dealing with very young people. I believe, from what I know of Raheem, that he's strong enough to compartmentalize his life from this side to what happens on the field of play, which is what interests me. But I do sympathize with them. Asked what advice he would give a young player, Hodgson added, if you wanted a one-word answer, I would say family. Family is very important. But of course, for some of these young players, they don't have the same strength of family around them as maybe a Steven Gerrard or a Frank Lampard have had. So you're in the realms of saying who is going to work in place of those people. I still believe the managers of their football clubs are important for them. I still think that 9 times out of 10, if you're talking about the top clubs, a manager will be a top-class guy, a top-class leader, and he will be able to give good advice. But it's a very individual thing, and quite frankly, I wouldn't dream of commenting on any situation like Raheem's with Liverpool because I really don't know the details. I don't know Raheem's side, his agent side, the club side. The people who know that are Liverpool Football Club. What I have to do is distance myself from it, sympathise with anything that's going on from both parties, perhaps, and wish and hope that when he puts an England shirt on, he can leave all that behind him. Now, a lot to take in there. But it's a big point. The way I see it is this. Henrik Larsson, spot on. Young players should be focusing on developing as players rather than looking at, oh my God, how much money I can get. And agents are very, very important in that role because at the end of the day, they are advising the players. And the thing that worries me about agents, how it looks like AD Ward, he's ended up making Raheem Sterling look like the bad guy when he's the one who's probably advising Raheem Sterling on what to say. This is my personal opinion from what I've seen. Now, it's a case of if AD Ward is giving bad advice to Raheem Sterling, it's obviously Sterling has quite tight ties to AD Ward. Essentially, AD Ward, from all accounts, is pretty much seen, I think Sterling pretty much sees him as kind of a father figure. So if you've got someone like that guiding you, of course you're going to listen to them and take what they say as gospel. Now, if they're guiding you in the wrong way, then you're screwed from day one. I mean, Raheem Sterling has got to look at it this way. He's at a great club. Don't burn your bridges, and don't let your agent burn your bridges for you, which looks like it's starting to happen because Liverpool cancelling the meeting with Raheem Sterling to go over the contracts. If rumours to be believed, there's been a price tag of, I think it's 60 million slapped on Raheem Sterling's head, and there are clubs sniffing around, apparently, if rumours are to be believed. So it'd be a case of, as much as AD Ward may think he's doing the right thing, I think AD Ward is pretty much just looking out for himself because he's left Impact Sports Management, and this is why I actually said, right, stick on that, keep that in mind. AD Ward leaving Impact Sports Management is quite an important point here, because he's trying to start up his own agency. He's taken Berahino and Sterling, so obviously he's trying to get a bit of exposure for himself so that he can get other clients. But at the same time, the way this Raheem Sterling contract situation is playing out, in my opinion, he's burning bridges. Because if I was seeing a situation like this and I saw comments attributed toward, like, oh, Jamie Carragher is this and that, and him shooting his mouth off, then I'm not going to, if I'm a club, I'm not going to want to deal with that guy as an agent. I'm going to look at him as an agent and think, no, you know what? He's not worth the trouble. And I don't think his client is worth the trouble either. So essentially, AD Ward might actually be burning bridges, trying to get himself over and try and get himself a bit of exposure, but at the cost of his clients. Now, agents are supposed to work in the best interest of the player, not themselves. And I said, for me personally, it looks like AD Ward, from what I've just read out there and from what I've read elsewhere as well, seems to be acting in his best interest. And this thing, when this came up on April 1st, 2015, I actually thought it was an April Fool's rib about the deregulation of agents. But then obviously we went and did background research on it, and it's like, oh my God, this is actually not a joke. They're actually doing this. And instantly, Melstein, it's one of them ones, his concerns about leading to a wild west of agents and creating anarchy, I'm in total agreement with that. Because if you deregulate something and you leave it to individual territories to start governing it, but they're going to be as corrupt as most football associations. We already know corruption is rife in football. And I've said on many shows before, you would have to stop the game totally to weed it out. Now, my concern is that with this deregulation of agents, you're going to get exactly the same thing. So this is and the fact of the matter is, it's young. These are young players. And imagine some agent, like was mentioned, some guy down the pub who thinks, oh, cool, they've deregulated it. Now I can be an agent. And he gets some 13, 14-year-old kid who's really good at football. He already knows the parents. So it's like, yeah, let me deal with it. But he doesn't know anything about immigration law, contract legalities, and that kind of thing. Then you're leaving yourself potentially open to legal action. Because imagine a deal gets brokered between a club. Let's say Real Madrid and Martin Odegaard. Let's say some guy from the pub has become an agent because of the deregulation, and he's brokering a deal between Real Madrid and Martin Odegaard, and then it comes to, right, Real Madrid want this deal 98% to 2% in their favor, and obviously they're gonna have the best legal teams that money can buy, and you've got this guy who probably knows nothing about contract law, but just knows he's got a good player on his hands. He could end up, he could be like, well, yeah, I'm getting the best thing for my player. He's getting a move to Real Madrid. But then he could end up accidentally shafting his own player, if you'll pardon the phraseology. He could end up shafting his own player in negotiations because he doesn't really know what he's doing. So in essence, you won't be working in the best interest of the player because you don't know what you're doing. That's my main concern, and this is my concern with AD Ward, that I think he's making Raheem Sterling look like the bad guy, and it's not good for a young player. What, Raheem Sterling is like 20 years old. It's like, dude, that you need to be supporting him, not gassing his head up, because at the end of the day, I think John Barnes, there was a quote from him, he's a 20-year-old player who's done nothing yet, and John Barnes is spot on. Raheem Sterling has done nothing yet. Few flashes of brilliance here and there, but he's done nothing yet, especially not on a consistent basis. I speak as an amateur league footballer and a Liverpool supporter when I say that. So, I mean, Jezzy Fizzle, do you want to jump in on this? I'll be interested to hear your view, and if the Skypers want to jump in as well, this will be very interesting.
Sure, I'll just touch briefly on the deregulation of agents before going specifically onto the Raheem Sterling situation. The deregulation of agents, you know, as you say, if, you know, your man Mr. Steen, if he is worried, then I think, you know, that should literally worry everybody. Because as you say, what this opens up, and this is what we found out in our research, you know, literally anybody could now decide, yeah, I'm going to be an agent. You could dress a dog up, put a suit on it, and say that the dog is an agent.
Yeah.
With how the rules are. Now, obviously, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but essentially, you know, it still applies. Anyone could go and say they're an agent. Now, if they have legal backgrounds, that would usually help. But most of the people that would be interested would just say, oh, you know, like I can go down to a park on a Sunday, look at some Sunday league players and think, oh yeah, you know, this one looks pretty good, that one looks pretty good. It doesn't really pick out a decent player. All right? But that doesn't make you a scout either. You see what I mean? Yeah. So now you're having all sorts of people potentially from all sorts of backgrounds just saying, well, I like football, that's more than enough of a qualification. And then deciding that they want to get into the ins and outs of representing a player as an agent. Now, if it's set up in a way so that, you know, you have to go and do formalized training, you know, and there's a unified course that you have to go and do, but it's still open to everyone provided that you pass the course, then I would say, okay, fair enough. That's probably a little bit better than the current setup. But right now, it's anyone. You know, and as far as I can see, there's no provisions for any sort of additional training where it's like, yeah, we're going to help you learn what you're supposed to do. None of that is in place. So, again, very, very dangerous. And I think it probably will take one or two people going out of their way to attempt it and getting it horribly wrong to fix that at the moment. That's my personal opinion. I think it will take one or two catastrophic deals in terms of the negotiations for the player and, of course, the agent themselves to resolve this issue. Now, in regards to the whole Raheem Sterling situation, I think what needs to happen is football fans need to understand certain things. Okay, first and foremost, in my opinion, even though for a lot of people he's being painted that way, Raheem Sterling is not the bad guy here.
Of course he's not.
He's not.
But the parasitic media have done a great job of making him look that way.
And the reason why I say that, right, and to a lesser extent, I'd actually argue that his agent isn't necessarily the bad guy either. The reason why I say that, for those two specifically, is this. In terms of the window of time that you have as an athlete to go and make your money in sport and make the most money that you can, it's not very long, right? For example, in the NFL, which is also known as not for long, rather than the National Football League, right? The average career of an NFL player is about 4 years, which is the length of a rookie contract. That's about it. Now, obviously, football and American football are two very different sports. But what I mean in terms of the comparison is, you know, unless you happen to really, really work hard and develop yourself, especially from an early age, the potential for you earning, you know, astronomical sums of money for a window of time during your career is not very big. It's not. So you kind of have to make the most of it while you can and try and get the most money while you can, because it's not going to last for forever. It's going to be a period of time where, as I say, your skills and your marketability is going to wane, right? Where I say one of the opposites to this would be David Beckham. David Beckham, right? He was a good footballer. Don't get me wrong, good footballer, but a much, much better brand manager and marketing guru, shall we say, for himself.
Yeah, yeah. The first
when you look at his associations, especially with his wife, that's really what helped his career financially. footballing wise, he was generally played in some very good teams that had other very good players, and that's what helped him be successful as a footballer, as well as fantastic ability in terms of long range passing, crossing, and dead ball situations in terms of free kicks, and again crosses and passes from dead ball situations.
But then he practiced.
Outside of that,
and put in the effort, and this one.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But what I mean is, outside of that, in terms of him, being a multifaceted player, was he that? No. Would you class him in the same league as, say, a Pele or a Lionel Messi or Diego Armando Maradona? No,
not at all.
In terms of natural ability, you wouldn't do that. That's what I mean. In terms of natural footballing ability, what you say, arguably he's one of the best players ever. You wouldn't put him in that kind of conversation.
No, but
and
he worked.
That's just how it is.
Yeah,
right?
but he worked.
So in terms of the time that you have in your career to go and make a lot of money, it's not very big. So right about now, okay, in terms of all the negotiations and saying, well, look, it doesn't matter how much money it would be to just pique the interest. That right there, honestly, it's marketing. That's what it is. It's get people talking. Here's the other thing, right? The other people who, for me, are and are not villains in all this is actually Liverpool. The reason why I say that is because, well, you could have wrapped this up ages ago. You could have sorted this out a long time ago.
But then Sterling said,
but
then Sterling said in November, yeah, I'm going to sort out my future at the end of the season. Then stuff kept coming out.
No, I understand that.
Kept coming out. So goalposts are getting moved.
No, I understand that. But what I mean is, while he was on the rise early on, you could have given him a new contract where it's like, look, incrementally, it will get better. There are certain things in terms of performances in regards to bonuses, so on and so forth, right, that we will give you, whether it's an appearance bonus, an assist bonus, goal bonus, whatever else other bonus, right? We'll stick all of those things in there. And this is how much money you can make if you go and apply yourself. Right? If they'd done that earlier, this problem does not exist because he's under contract after that.
But the thing is,
if it comes up again,
the thing is, that's what
it's a matter of, listen, we've already got you under contract. Now you're just going to have to sit and you're going to rock because we're not going to let you go anywhere, not for cheap.
But you got to bear in mind that's pretty much the situation that we're in, because at the end of the day, he's got I think he's got at least 3 more years left on his current deal, because he only signed a new deal like a year or so ago. So he's still got a while on that. So it's one of them ones where the kind of incremental deals, dude, he's got to do something to earn it. At the end of the day, if he wants to go on like 30 big balls and try and command 100,000, 200,000, whatever, you got to step up and earn it. Yaya Toure caused a lot of controversy when he got jumped up onto 200 grand, but at least he can say, well, look at what I did. And that's one of the major things.
And I agree. It's not that I disagree. I do agree. There is certain things that he has to do before he can jump up and down and say, hey, I'm worth this, and I'm worth that. I totally get that. The part where, for me, things fall down in regards to his agent is where he's coming out and, he's calling people names. Now, here's the thing. If you want to go and establish yourself, not just as an agent, right, but as a reputable business person, okay, let's not go for mud at people. All right, there's generally a saying, if you're pointing a finger at somebody else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Exactly.
Right? Which means there's a lot more looking into yourself that you should do than looking at somebody else. The other thing that they say is, generally speaking, you know what, you can't really compliment a person that says bad things about other people. It's very difficult to compliment that kind of person. So here's the thing. Him doing that does not set him up very well in terms of his business relationships with other potential clients and clubs. It really doesn't help him. So that's the part where he let himself down and his client down, to be fair, in my opinion. Right? If he'd have said, I understand the comments that Jamie Carragher's making, but here's the thing that we need to point out. My client is not Jamie Carragher. My client is one of the top young talents in English football and arguably the world. And right now, what I'm looking to do in his best interest is have him paid like that. If he'd said something like that, much better.
But that's the
Much
thing.
better.
But that's the thing.
For him
He
to go,
didn't.
but him to go with name calling doesn't help.
Yeah.
Doesn't help. So he's putting himself into the picture now. Now, him as an agent, people, as I say, I'm personally looking at him and I'm saying, you know, you have to understand that there are ways to play this game. You know,
Yeah,
in how
you're getting your name
you know,
out
there are
there,
ways
but you're
to
not
say the
making
things.
yourself look good.
There are ways to say the things that you want to say without saying them. You know, so that was something that was kind of lost. So for me, that's where it gets interesting. As you say, Raheem Sterling's already under contract anyway. The only other thing that could feasibly happen is, well, look, he just sits out his deal. Like, literally goes on strike. That's the only other thing that could happen. But having said that, the person who really loses on all of that kind of scenario is Raheem anyway, because he's not playing.
No, but that's
So
what
my
I was saying.
question
Though,
is,
he's
even
going to
if they
burn his
went
bridges.
No, but this is what I mean. So even if they went that route, what good would that do? There's no good being done there, right? And really, for me, the person that needs to really put his foot down and understand what is really happening here is Raheem Sterling. I'm not saying that he needs to go and change management. That's not it. I think he can still have the same representation. But what he needs to figure out himself, right, is what's important here. That's what he needs to figure out. Is it important for him to hone his craft, become the best player that he could possibly be, improve himself as much as he possibly can, not just as a footballer, but as a person, in order to go and earn all of this money? Or is it more important to say, well, look, I'm on a sinking ship, I need to get off, right? And the way that I'm going to get off is by throwing a tantrum.
That's why.
And I would say, I know which one isn't going to work.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter, for me, the fact of the matter is that his agent AD Ward is not setting the best example for him. And the fact of the matter is, if someone's doing something in your interest, you want to know that you're being taken care of. And as you said,
the part where I disagree with you. Right. The part where I disagree with you is this: Raheem Sterling has to be his own man. Okay. Now, well, I understand that you have certain people they say in terms of agents that they're working on your behalf, they're trying to get you the deal that you want, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. If it's a deal that you want, you need to tell your agent what that is. You instruct your agent. Your agent does not instruct you.
No, but you know what? See, that's where I disagree with you, because I think with young players, I mean, bearing in mind Sterling's only 20. I mean, who knows where they're going financially for the next 10, 15 years when they're 20? Most people don't. I probably don't even know that now. I'm 29. But the fact of the matter is, it's a case of when you're dealing with probably more money than you will ever know what to do with. That's obviously going to come into it in part and kind of confuse your judgment a bit. So an experienced head, like was mentioned, like say by Roy Hodgson in terms of family structure, or it's a case of that's why you hire an agent. That's why young players have agents, so that those agents can help them and guide them and make sure they're working in their best interest, especially with young players. That's important.
Well, the thing, let's make a distinction here, right? An agent is not a mentor. An agent is not a life coach. An agent is just a representative in legal negotiations, i.e. player contracts, so on and so forth.
True,
right?
but when you're dealing with younger players, you have to be more. And also, if AD Ward was an agent in the purest sense of the word, which would be the way you've just defined it, if AD Ward was that, then in theory he should be a complete third party and have no real influence outside of financial situations and that kind of thing. Then, but the fact that AD Ward is dealing with these young players such as Sterling and Berahino, he's got very close relationships with them, which go outside of football, which go into mentoring. So in theory, that means AD Ward is almost overstepping his bounds then. If we're taking agent in terms of the purest sense of the word that you've just dropped it as.
Well, here's the thing, right? Again, it comes down to personal value. So if he's able to blur those lines, he's obviously giving them something a lot more than just being an agent, right? But here's the other thing, as I said to you, right? it's all about the young player working out what it is that they want. So if, for example, if Raheem Sterling doesn't feel that his current deal reflects his importance to Liverpool, especially with somebody like Steven Gerrard leaving, I get where they're saying, listen, there's not enough money on the table here. That makes sense to me. That does make sense, because here's the thing. He now would have to be the focal point of that team for him to feel any kind of desire to want to continue to play there.
And
then, of course, you're looking at transfer policy where you say, well, look, the last 2 seasons, arguably the 2 best players in the team have gone for different reasons.
Yeah.
Right? What's going to happen next? So again, I kind of understand that angle from it. And again, he's the one that's supposed to be instructing his agent to say, look, right now, right, I really don't feel that this team is going to be able to compete for the next, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. So I want to leave right now. And if that's what his instruction is, then, as I say, everything else here in this scenario makes sense. But if it's not, then, as you said, right, literally, it's kind of who's actually, you know, representing who is managing who here in this scenario. Because it's really not clear if anything else is actually the case, right? But as we also said, you know, and we've said it several times, player contracts currently, they're not worth the paper that they're printed on. They don't actually mean anything in terms of being legally binding documents, because there's so many loopholes in terms of ways to get out of them now, because they're built that way. So, you know, it's a very difficult position for Liverpool. And as I say, in terms of PR, and Eddie hinted at this, it is a nightmare right now. It's not particularly positive. It does not show Liverpool in a good light. It does not show Raheem Sterling in a good light. Because here's the other thing. You know what Raheem Sterling looks like now? If we're just going to go and take things at face value, he looks like a money-hungry mercenary. That's what he looks like.
Yeah. And it's sad that a young player is actually being perceived in that way, and part of that is to do with the parasitic media whipping up a frenzy, and part of that I think is to do with the agent and his comments, and especially bearing in mind that AD Ward, his agent, has just started up his own agency, which is why I think that's quite an important point as well. And you were talking about marketing, so he's essentially potentially making his player look bad, look like the heel of the situation, just to get himself over. That's the way I'm seeing it.
Well, as I said to you, there's lots of different ways for them to play this out in terms of what is done and how you represent and carry yourself. Now, for me, they haven't done themselves any favors in terms of his new company. But at the same time, right, as I say, you know, he has to be a vocal point, because, well, you ask Raheem Sterling, what's Raheem Sterling actually said? Not an awful lot. Other than, you know, this whole contract dispute will be sorted out at some point during the end of the season, i.e. now. So, you know, everything else kind of remains to be seen.
I mean,
you know, but as I say to you, I think in terms of the negotiations, here's my biggest thing. Liverpool could have done more, should have done more to manage this situation better. I think Liverpool waited too long, and now this thing is kind of blown beyond all proportion, right? The other thing here that's really dangerous for Raheem Sterling, right? I tell you what I fear may happen to him is that he could become a Ricardo Quaresma.
Oh, good.
In that he got a lot. He got a lot based on the fact that, yeah, you know, it's been recognized that he had talent or has talent. Then things really don't tend to work out, because let's be honest, it was big money move and then big money move again, big club and then big club again, where it just didn't work out. And then it happens that it's really towards the later stages of his career in his 30s when he begins to work it out to say, oh, well, this is how it really should go, and this is how I'm supposed to put it all together. You know, but for me personally, I feel Raheem Sterling, the best place for him to be is a place where he's going to get regular football week in, week out. If he moves and goes to a bigger club and I use that term in inverted commas, right, where there's a lot more competition because there's a lot more talented players, right, and he's not going to be the man, for me, that's going to stagnate his growth. He needs to be somewhere where, well, look, he's depended on, and he actually plays week in, week out. And that team is Liverpool for me, personally.
I was going to say, yeah, he's there now. He's there now, but if he wants to burn his bridges, then
for me,
that
that is his best opportunity to really grow because, well, he doesn't have a choice. He has to grow. Whereas, if he goes to, say, for example, there was talk potentially going Real Madrid, right? Goes there,
he'll get lost in the shuffle.
There's so many talented players there,
especially attacking players.
He can comfortably hide away and be absent.
But then,
and no one really noticed.
But then it'd be one of them ones. Imagine him moving to Real Madrid in a big money deal. Look at how the media, the parasitic media over in Spain, especially Marca, have been treating Gareth Bale. Look at how the fans have treated Gareth Bale. And imagine that happening to Raheem Sterling at 20 years old. You see where I'm going with this? This is what I'm saying. Because this is dealing with a young player, and this whole thing with the agent situation is dealing with young players. Yeah, you might get him a move to a bigger, a quote unquote bigger team, but that might not be best for that person's career at the moment. I'm always a fan of if someone's young, like let's say Harry Kane, for instance, let him stay at Tottenham for 3-4 seasons. Get seasoned, baby, like the American dream, Dusty Rhodes, get seasoned. Let the player get seasoned first. Why do you need to move that player on so quickly? All right, yeah, big money. I understand that football's a business, extremely badly run business, but business nonetheless. But at the same time, there has to be some sort of vision or some sort of visionary that looks at the player's welfare. And that's why I respect Samir Sawney of Motivate Sports and Fitness for what he does with his entity of Motivate Sports and Fitness at Motivate SF on Twitter and motivatesportsandfitness.com and facebook.com/Motivate Sports and Fitness. It's a case of, that's why I respect what they do so much, because they're about putting the player first and the player as a person first, not as a player, the player as a person and developing the person. So I think that is where the focus needs to be, rather than everyone just trying to grab as much money as they bloody can, because then you're no different to the guys at the top who are bloody running the game and ruining it at the same time in terms of being corrupt. But there's a lot more.
Again, couldn't agree with you more. As I say, that's the danger. And even with the talk of, Manchester City potentially coming in with a big bid, or even Chelsea, I'm like, look, there's no guarantees that he'll succeed there. Again, these squads are so big, so talented, right? He can get lost in the shuffle and comfortably hide. The only difference is in the Jose Mourinho team, it's like, look, if the way that Jose runs teams, if you don't put in the work and work how he tells you to work, you will find the door.
Of course.
Right? Mohamed Salah, gone.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of them ones rotten.
Andre Schürrle, who won a World Cup, gone.
Yeah. I mean that's the concern. I mean, Manchester City, you only have to look at Jack Rodwell and Scott Sinclair. Do I need to say any more? So, in terms of track record with young players, especially young British
I would have thrown in
a
young Daniel Sturridge in there as well.
Yeah. Well, you could throw in Sturridge for Chelsea too. So
yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know.
So, as I say, there's no guarantees that if, these big 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70 million pound deals or offers, one of those goes through again, is that really in his best interest? I mean, even let's look at Gareth Bale, right? So he moves for 90 million or whatever it is, right? Right about now, he's starting to struggle.
He's been
to cope with that. He was struggling to cope with that from the beginning.
He's being treated like a pariah.
Well, there's that too. But, he's struggling to cope with the weight of that from the beginning, right? Especially when you have somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo. And here's the thing. When he left Manchester United for 60 million, okay, it was a matter of, arguably at that point in time, he was the number one or 1A or 1B, whatever it is, in world football at that time. He justified that. obviously he backed it up with consistent performances week in, week out, and what he also won.
Yeah, but Sterling hasn't done that yet, and that's the this.
No, and that's my point. And that's my point. So, you know, all of that needs to be sorted out personally for me before we can start talking about these astronomical fees. I mean, even with Gareth Bale, right? When he went and moved for his absolutely ridiculous fee, what did he win?
Yeah,
at that point.
But this is.
I mean, he's won stuff since, but what did he win?
But this is one of the problems of the modern game. That it's one of them ones. Let's get as much money as we can as quickly as we can. And it's and obviously players are either stagnating or they're just not developing as well as they should, and they're getting pressures put on them that they shouldn't really be put on them until they're at least in their mid to late 20s. So it's one of them ones. You ain't ever gonna develop if people keep doing this. You ain't gonna develop any world class talented players. You're not going to do it because you're not going to give them the time to season and get their experience in before putting the weight of the world on their shoulders. But that's a youth development issue that we are going to hit in the summer as well. So, but you know what? It is one of them ones where time is starting to press on, and we are just going to go for a quick pause for the cause. We're going to go for a quick break, but we shall be back in just a few minutes. We'll see you in a minute, peeps. The football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Straight shooting LJA.
Hi, I'm John Sitton.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
The G-Man.
Samira Sonic, Motivate Sports and Fitness.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-year plan.
We the people, for the people. Jazzy Fizzle.
Your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Each and every Monday night of your lives.
At youtube.com/pitch talk.
For podcast links and information, check out our official website, www.pitch-talk.com. Your Monday night footballing fix, Pitch Talk, is brought to you by and in association with
Talking Pie, a local podcast made by the fans for the fans of Notts County FC, hosted by Adam and Thomas Hewitt.
Simply Exclusive Entertainment. If you need a party or rave film, go to sxemedia.com for more information.
Apparently Rich, simple yet effective web solutions to help get your company off the ground. Visit apparentlyrich.com for more information. And LJA Productions, the new blood in digital video. If you need a video filmed and or edited, check out ljaproductions.co.uk. LJA Productions, the new blood in digital video, offering video production services such as video editing, video encoding for the web, including YouTube and Vimeo, audio recording, filming of interviews, promos, live events, and much more. Get in touch at www.ljaproductions.co.uk or twitter.com/LJA Productions and let the new blood in digital video promote you. Pitch Talk is brought to you by and in association with
the one-stop shop for all your coaching needs, Motivate Sports and Fitness. Check out motivatesportsandfitness.com for more information.
The new football culture magazine, Thin White Line. Check out thinwhitelinemagazine.com for more information.
Storm FM with new hot releases played daily. Feel the boom at stormfm.net.
Two girls with their Bonnie Scotty trying to cover as much women's football as they can. Girls on the Ball. Check out girlsontheball.com for more information.
Hello, I'm Rob Dress.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, director of the 4-year plan.
Dave McLaughlin.
I'm Rob Lusher.
Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
Former chairman of Ibis FC.
Chairman of Alexandra Park FC.
And you're listening to
Pitch Talk.
The only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Make sure you join the revolution, the football revolution.
Stuff of the week.
Hey! La da da, la da da, la da da. This is Pitch Talk, and it's Monday night. Studio, season, baby. Our segment of a show. This is Monday night. Organized mayhem. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. This is Pitch Talk. Talking football, around and out. This is Monday night. Let's roll into some stuff of the week. Yeah, dig it. Let's go player of the week first. And player of the week first, gonna go for. You know what? I want to go for Jermaine Beckford. Third player in playoff history to get a hat trick in the playoff final. I'm going for Jermaine Beckford because it's one of them was following in the footsteps of Scott Sinclair and Clive Mendonca. So I'm going to go Jermaine Beckford as my player of the week. Jesse, who are you going for?
Jonas Gutierrez.
That's a fantastic
an assist and a goal, and for me, right, a player that sums up Newcastle's season in his own personal season this year in life. Okay, start off, get some terrible news, take some time away, battle all the way through, and right when it really counts, clutch time, crunch time, whatever you want to call it, he pulls it out, secures the team's position in the Premier League and saves the day.
Yeah, almost single-handedly, really, because his cross
doesn't get much better than that.
And the goal, yeah. No, that's a great shout.
Doesn't get much better than that. And on top of that, you know, in terms of the wider message to cancer survivors, yes, you can. And I'm not talking about Barack Obama.
No, that's a great shout. That is a fantastic shout. Also in regards to that, as well, definitely have to give a big shout out in that regard to Linda Moon and her family of Preston North End. I have to give that a shout out too. Let's go for player of the week. Let's go for Ryan Sonley. You've got yours and Ross Furness.
Well, mine is Jermaine Beckford and most of the Stoke team. Russ's is Cranmer and Jerome because he only seen today's game.
I love the fact that you say most of the Stoke team, even though Middlesbrough lost to. Curveball right on the strike on, but cool. No, that's all good. Yeah, look at that. Tom Wood, who are you going for? Player of the week. Oh, Tom, do you want to repeat that? Oh, Tommy. Wait, you might, Tom, if you can put that in the Skype chat because you're actually breaking up quite badly. Drop it in the Skype chat for us, please. And we'll get that read out sharpish. Yeah, apologies on that one. Just some technical problems. Kieran Riley, who are you going for? Player of the week.
To be honest, it's got to be Jermaine Beckford.
Good shout. Good shout. Jamie Bailey, player of the week.
Gianpiero Pezzini for getting his 100th goal for AC Milan.
No, good shout. That's a very, very good shout. Just a wait. Tom Wood has said Joe Pigott for scoring our late equaliser, Dan Bentley for keeping out 2 Wickham penalties by his own goal. That's a good shout from Southend. Very, very good shout. Let's go for team of the week. Oh yeah, Mike Harniman. Who you going for? Who you going for in terms of player of the week?
For me, I'm going to agree with Jesse and give honourable mention to Gutierrez, but also I've got to give a mention to Theo Sandating.
Yeah, we'll go. Sandating. Yeah, let's go team of the week. For me, team of the week. Team of the week for winning a game worth £120 million. Got to go Norwich. Got to go Norwich. Honourable mention to Stoke because Stoke deserve it as well because they were brilliant. As bad as we were, they were brilliant. So Norwich with an honourable mention to Stoke. Jesse, who you going for?
Well, my team of the week actually has to be Barcelona. Right? And it's mostly because I don't know if many of you have seen it, but some of the tributes that they've paid to Xavi Hernandez, absolutely phenomenal.
I'll go for that.
Phenomenal stuff. In terms of Premier League, really, it's a toss-up. I mean, I know that Leicester City is kind of my default now, and I'm probably an honorary Leicester fan.
Brad Hicks will be happy to hear you say that. He'll be happy.
Yeah, but I also have to say Newcastle, right? Because here's the thing: crunch time, clutch time, where irrespective they need to win, they go and do it. I mean, I don't know why they left it this late, to be fair, but they pulled it out. They pulled it out, and by contrast, Hull don't win. They're down. Newcastle stay up.
Good shout. Good shout, sir. Tom Wood, who are you going for? He's going Southend. No, that's smart. And there's good reason for it this week as well. So Tom Wood went for Southend. Ryan, who are you going for?
Mine is going to be Preston North End, and Ross is Stoke.
Yeah, he's funny. Yeah, he's very fun. Good luck with
I
relegation.
know.
Good luck with
I don't know why.
relegation next season. That's all I can say. No, big shout outs to Ross, man. Big shout outs. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, even if it's wrong. No, I'm only kidding. Here's 100 reasons why you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. Mike Harniman, who are you going for? Team of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Ryan and say Preston, but also give an honourable mention to Leicester as well for the way they've ended the season and survived miraculously from where they were a couple of months back as well, and winning with 5-1 at the weekend as well to kind of cap that all off. So for me, it's Preston and also Leicester.
Good shout. Kieran Riley, who you going for? Team of the week.
Preston North End, Southend United, Norwich City, and save the best for last, Stoke City.
Good gravy. You can narrow that down. Anyway, Jamie Bailey, team of the week.
Everybody's kind of taken away mine, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm not actually going to go with Preston North End on the pitch. I'm going to go with what they did off of it, as well as bringing her to light, and the Football League as well. We're bringing Linda Moon to light, so well done, and hopefully they do go up. They do go up again next season. Preston, but
fantastic shout.
The big time is not there yet.
No, fantastic shout on that one. That's actually a fantastic shout. Let's go for goal of the week. Goal of the week for what it meant. Jonas Gutierrez, for what it meant. I mean, the goal that sealed Newcastle staying up, and it was one that was it was an emotional outpouring. So Jonas Gutierrez with an honourable mention to Steven Gerrard as well. It's final goal for us. Thanks, Stevie. Thanks, Stevie. So Jersey, who are you going for all the week?
Literally, I was gonna take those 2 goals for the same 2 reasons. So we're in agreement completely. Jonas, just because of when you think of his story this season, for him to get that goal, never mind him getting the assist, for him to get that goal, it really is a storybook ending to this season for him. You know, right about now, we are #Jonas strong. Yeah, that's what we are. And I'm not talking about the Jonas brothers. I'm talking about Jonas Gutierrez. Yeah, we are that strong. Because right now, as I say, for him to do that, what it means to him, what it means to Newcastle as a club, what it means to Newcastle as a city, absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, Steven Gerrard proving, you know, even though, according to a lot of people, in regards to the Premier League, you know, and him not being able to play all the games, his powers being on the wane, etc., still arguably Liverpool's best player, still puts the team on his back, even when, well, look, there's not really a lot to play for. Not for him anyway. Still does all that, and it's his final goal in the Premier League.
No, I hear that. I'm not disagreeing with you on that one. Tom Wood has gone for his goal of the week. Joe Pickett's late equaliser. Feed the pig and he will score. I don't need that much of a prompt. No, not in terms of the pig. In terms of what was put after, I don't need that much of a prompt. Kieran Riley, who are you going for? Goal of the week.
All 4 of Arsenal goals against our arch rivals West Bromwich Albion.
No
Jermaine Beckford's 3 goals. And all of Stoke City's 6 goals against you.
Yeah, how many did you concede on the last day? Anyway, let's not mind.
That's so cruel.
That. Yeah. Ryan Sondley, who are you going for? Goal of the week.
I'm going for Beckford. I'm going for Nathan, which shout. I don't know why he's being funny about Norwich.
Well, no, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. Mike Harniman, who you going for? Goal of the week.
For me, I can't really look further than Juve's second goal for Stoke, and also Walcott's first goal as well. So they're much this week.
I hear that. Jamie Bailey, goal of the week.
You know what? I've not really got one, so I'm gonna go with. Everybody seems to be going for Jermaine Beckford and all of this. I'm actually just gonna be open about it and say I can't remember his name, but the other guy that scored for Preston.
Okay, well that's a fair shout. That is a fair shout.
Yeah.
Let's go for it's that time. It's that time for flop of the week. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Let's go for flop of the week. My flop of the week, usually with the live bird upon my chest, a Liverpool win is the result I love the best. But just pieces, purely on the basis that Liverpool on the pitch left me feeling this.
What has just happened? Whoa! Frustrated into the goddamn word for it.
Just because they left me that in terms of the season in general, and because the performance against Stoke can be described as
5 stars, -5 stars,
and also because I can't play that soundbite, that cornet soundbite, but anyway, because the defending was an effing circus as well. It does, and left me watching the game thinking,
I don't know what the hell's going on here. Wait a minute, but I don't like it at all.
And also because Liverpool's performances in the last 2 games especially have been.
Hey, he's stuck his leg! He's stuck his leg! Hey, he's stuck his leg! He's stuck his leg!
So Liverpool FC on the pitch, my flop of the week, with honourable mention to AD Ward, AD Bridgeburn Award. But Jesse, who are you going for?
Well, it's a tough one, but I have to give honourable mention at least to Hull, right? Just because the chances were there, right? You needed to do something. Now, I'll be honest, Manchester United helped a lot by not really going all out, in my opinion, to really, put something to the sword, because there wasn't really anything to play for Manchester United. But Hull, you had it. The opportunity was there, right? So really, really should have been a lot more effort from you. And then, of course, there's Marouane Fellaini.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Comes on, gets sent off. I'm like, dude, no.
He's trying to copy Gerrard, but he's not as good at it.
He's had a resurgent season. This is the thing. He actually looks like a decent player in a Manchester United shirt, and then you go and do that, right? But then, of course, there's everybody that played for Liverpool, apart from Steven Gerrard.
And Jordan Ibe.
Which is Liverpool's major problem. Liverpool's major problem right now. So, to Hull, Marouane Fellaini, and everybody at Liverpool, apart from Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard, thank you very much. All the best in your future endeavours. Flop of the week.
You sound like a WWE tweet after they've released someone, or a WWE statement. Future endeavor. But Ryan, who are you going for flop of the week?
Honourable mention to Middlesbrough, and my other team, the other flop of the week is Swindon, and Russ's is Liverpool.
Russ is funny. I give his team flop of the season. Anyway, moving on. Kieran Riley, who you?
Wow.
Kieran Riley. No,
stuff for the season is next week, by the way. Make sure you keep it locked.
Exactly. Kieran Riley, who you going for flop of the week?
Of course, first off, it's got to be my Wolves' arch rival West Bromwich Albion for losing 4-1 to obviously the Gooners. But then big time shout outs to Liverpool. I am shocked, absolutely shocked at how their defence was absolutely. Oh, I'm not even going to say anything else.
You're
just a -5 stars. Well, that's all I'm going to say.
It's one of them ones. Yeah, it actually does deserve a
-5 stars.
It legitimately does deserve that. Let's go, Mike Harniman. Who are you going for flop of the week?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to give it to Liverpool for that 6-1 defeat. And also, I'm going to give it to the Preston North End fan, the woman who allegedly, I'm not sure how true this is, but stole Beckford's shirt off of a young Preston fan as well.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's actually a disgrace. Tom Wood has said Middlesbrough and Leeds United. It's tremendous. Jamie Bailey, just to round out, who are you going for?
My flop of the week, and I'm going to give it to Middlesbrough for literally not turning up today. That was absolutely pathetic on the pitch, and you know what? He deserved to lose. So Ryan, I apologize, but you know what? You ain't Premiership quality enough, mate. Sorry.
I hear that.
I agree with that, Jamie. They were absolutely dismissed, bro.
Well, you know what? It is.
Thank you.
It is one of them. It is one of them ones where we've had the stuff of the week, and you know what? It is about that time to say a big time thank you to all of the Skypers that have joined us tonight. But it is time for us to vacate the place with a haste.
Well, it's the big show.
Hi, I'm John Sittenville with Gavin, Liam and Gerald on Pitch Talk.
The football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez, Christian 42.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Matt Hodgson, director of the 4-year plan.
Samir Swanee, co-founder and co-director of Motivate Sports and Fitness.
And you're listening to Pitch Talk.
The only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep. And the pitch is where we talk.
You never know. You won't see it coming.
But I promise you know. Because it's Pitch Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, straight shooting LJ, the G-Man and Chelsea Fizzle will be on Wembley Way on May 30th, this coming Saturday. May 30th, 2015 for the FA Cup final. So come and find us. We left the cameras. We'll be down from around about 2 o'clock-ish. Also, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, straight shooting LJ, the G-Man and Chelsea Fizzle proudly bring to you the football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions, because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And of course, the pitch is where we talk. We all need everybody to spread the word. We podcast on iTunes, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Spreaker, and also Tune In Radio as well. Feel free to pop by iTunes, give us a rating, give us a little comment on what you feel about the show as well. It's all welcome and all appreciated as well. Gets us noticed more and allows us to bring you a better show. You know what? It is one of them ones, baby. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we're working so hard to create. www.pitch-talk.com is where you can get our information. All the information about Pitch Talk you need, www.pitch-talk.com, which is the official website. pitchtalk.blogspot.co.uk or .com will take you to the blogs by yours truly, Straight Shooting LJ, the G-Man, Jezzy Fizzle, and many others, including Dave Mir, aka at Mercy, and his Electricity League roundup, and much more in terms of blogs. Also, youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where later on we will actually be releasing, within the next 24 hours, we're going to be releasing Pitch Talk meets Dave McLaughlin. So those listening, we are going to be releasing that very, very soon. So keep your eyes out. Stay awake for the next few hours. But also, youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where we will have our Pitch Talk at the Cup Finals video eventually as well. So keep an eye out for that. My word, twitter.com/Pitch Talk or at Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet of us, follow us, see what we're up to. 07535804466 is the mobile number. Call us, text us, let us know your views. Just like Big T did earlier, we'll throw them D's up for Thomas Hewitt, and a big time shout out to the Talking Pie podcast, which is on its way from Big T. Also, a big shout out to Finn White Line Magazine at Tweet White Line on Twitter, facebook.com/Finn White Line Magazine, and www.finnwhitelinemagazine.com. And Mr. Ian Kerr, the editor of that magazine. Remember, there are offers on that magazine. It's one of them ones. Go buy the shirts as well. You know what? It is one of them ones, baby. Pitch Talk live on Google Plus. We're on all the socials. We're also on the Instagram as well. Pitch Talk at Pitch Talk on Instagram. Big time shout outs to Jamie Bailey, Mike Harniman, Ryan Sonley, Russ Vernon, Tom Wood, Kieran Riley, who was with us earlier as well. It's one of them was at a big shout out to Brad Hicks, who's given his player of the week as Esteban Cambiaso, team of the week, Leicester, goal of the week, Stephen Nzonzi, and flop of the week is QPR. So it's one of them ones. I have been Straight Shooting LJA.
I have been Jezzy Fizzle.
And from all of us here at Pitch Talk, including the G-Man who sends his regards, we will say thank you very much. Good night.